What's up, everybody? This is Edward back with another video. This is gonna be a Dr. Palmer, oh, not Dr. Palmer, but a Palmer after show. Shout out to Palmer, definitely doing a lot of good information. Trying to get this banner down real quick. Logo. All right. So anyway, I don't know how long I'm gonna be on here because this ain't gonna be some shit where I'm gonna be on forever. I'm really not. But if you all are here from Palmer's Joint, I appreciate you. Definitely make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Subscribe in particular. I may bring some people on here, but I want to be clear here. Like the conversation is going to move. We're not gonna have this like long, stretched out conversation. Like as far as people like not really getting their points across and just kind of preaching. Because I ain't Palmer. I will move that shit along. So here's the deal. There's a reason I titled it what I titled it. So the original video from Palmer, and let me like share the screen real quick. The reason why let me see, let me boost that up. The reason why all right, let me jump right into it. The reason why I titled it the way I titled it is because Palmer was talking about some situations with some, child deaths, child murders that had to do with both black men and black women. There was a lot of things that kind of happened with that conversation. It was a great conversation, but there was a lot of things that kind of got intersected. Like, for instance, some of the people that were brought up, I said that one of the things to keep in mind is these folks ain't always ADOS. They do this. This is not to say that ADOS, this is not to say that ADOS people don't do anything. That was never my intent. But my thing is to understand that there's always a lot when you're looking at these articles, you have to use critical thinking to also uncover the layers. This is part of why it's beneficial for people to cover like articles and stuff like that, because you get insight based on somebody's personal experiences or stuff that you might not have thought of. That's why I listen to stuff. Shout out to Cheds because she gave me an insight on some stuff as far as abortion, how it affects the woman, which I didn't really think about. It's just stuff you don't think about. Not to say you don't know, you just don't think about it, right? And so I gave one insight. That's not even what's really important for this conversation. But another insight towards the end that we got was had to do more with people are giving different thoughts and different theories on things like Big Mike. Shout out to Big Mike on the MTDs, mentally transmitted diseases, which is gonna be what I start calling now rather than generational curses. Generational curses. Um and I'm gonna give him credit for that. And you have folks kind of throwing a lot of dynamics in there, like they were throwing in, men need to pay attention to who they're dropping in their seed. 53, almost 54% of your men don't have children. We occupy the widest gap of shout out to BGS. We occupy the widest gap. It doesn't matter what percentages you want to believe. What the facts are is we occupy the widest gap between women that have kids and men that don't have kids of any race in the United States of America. That's number one. Number two, there's a lot of women that are having kids by non-black men that's not really, and they're being classified as black. What I'm saying is there's women are not getting enough kids out of black men for the most part. So and it only takes really 10% of your population can seed your whole population. This is why you see a whole bunch of men sharing, a whole bunch of dudes with multiple baby mamas and shit like that, because it doesn't take a lot of men in order to do that. So I get the understanding at the individual level of saying that a dude needs to be responsible for who they're having sex with, but sexual access for men is a little bit different than women. Women can just open their legs up and be ugly as shit and find a dick to come in them. Men have to actually fight for sexual access, meaning men have to get a permission of a woman to have sex with her. Otherwise, it's rape, as we all know. So it's a different calculation when dudes. Now, this is not to say that men should start fucking some of these crazy bitches, because when you deal with women that are crazy, and I mean like they act on some other shit, I have a very pet peeve on that. Like you say, oh, that pussy's good. The crazy pussy's the best pussy. I don't like that, because that speaks directly to black men knowingly not caring about who they're having sex with, and then them just saying they're having sex for the, I don't want to say the wrong reasons, but it's like you're creating problems for yourself, which is why at the individual level, a dude is only going to do so much. Saying what a female did, and I'm like, if you've been with her over time, it's the same questions I'm going to ask that the men have. Now, obviously, if you have a kid, there's different ties. We know how the child support system is with black men. We know how hard it is. So those calculations are there. But if we're talking about sexual access and we're not talking about a child being involved, then at the end of the day, if you're choosing to deal with people that are detrimental to your quality of life or your health because of all the bullshit that come along with them, the proxy violence that come along with them, a lot of these 304s, you have to be accountable for that. But the problem is a lot of these dudes these are not, the problem is that's not where all the problem is. Dudes will try to make it like, oh, the problem is a lot of black men are only dating black women. And so that's why when Kevin Samuels put up that video saying, should black men open it up for competition, and you had nothing but black men argue that shit. See, here's why I disagree with a lot of black men. Black men believe that you can change a bitch. You can't. If a bitch is wild and out of control, they're going to be wild and they're going to be out of control. Your manhood ain't going to bring her to heel. It doesn't matter how big you are. It doesn't matter how well you can even fuck. That shit will calm her down maybe temporarily, but that's only because she's getting something from you. Meaning, when I say big you are, I mean like if you're 6'7" or something like that. A woman that is truly wild and is truly defiant is gonna be that way. And even women that are not truly wild, they're gonna do what the fuck they want to do. They may do it in your presence, they may do it behind your back, but ultimately they're gonna, and see where black men fuck up is black men start having this thing where they believe these well, if you just follow Jesus and you follow this and you do this, that woman has no ability to do this. But to be compliant, no, that's that permission-based leadership. That is not how that works. Other men typically benefit from what I call social momentum, meaning they're going off the culture and the traits that was codified in their culture, even with white people or whatever. See, black people don't have that because we've never had the ability to enforce the limits. We've never had the ability to enforce shit in this country on our women. This is the difference. We may have more money than any other black people as a group in the diaspora. What we don't have is the ability to enforce our will on our women. In Africa, these bitches can't go nowhere else. The men they deal with is the men they deal with. Whatever tribe, whatever ethnic group, or what it is. African Americans are a client race in the American empire. That's a fact. We don't have that ability. And then how these women got here, which people forget. Black women did not get here at the beginning of slavery. They got here in the final third, which means they always had a role of a supervisory matriarch in the black community. The Jim Crow era was just basically their own survival depending on them getting in line. So they got in line for their own benefit. But black women as a group have never, ever, ever, women don't decide. They're culturated with it. And see, the problem is, even with bringing up the church, you can look up the black church and see how corrupted that is to see what I'm talking about. So it doesn't matter if it's the Bible or whatever. Now, as far as being on your purpose and all of that, what's crazy is, MGTOW, men going their own way. When MGTOW first was going into the black manosphere, MGTOW was rejected for being gay, a gateway to homosexuality, faggoty, whatever. Niggas got real little boosty on that shit. And MGTOW was about prioritizing your own purpose. But dudes couldn't think outside of that because dudes saw that as don't fuck. And to be true, a lot of y'all niggas need to go on like 3 month or 6 month sabbaticals from pursuing pussy. Because the reality is y'all need to get y'all shit together in order to create better outcomes for yourselves. But, so this is not a new idea. It's not a new idea. But, dudes, what they do is they kind of fall in. I understand your philosophies, but you have to apply it in the practical world that exists here. And in the American society, I get what people are saying about how it should be. America is not built around how it should be. So you have to address how it is, because it ain't no, well, we just get our mind right, the women are just gonna fuck. No, they're not. Not if you're not willing to enforce it. And black men have demonstrated they are not willing to, as a group, enforce that shit. Now, as an individual, you can choose not to fuck with people that are not fucking with you on what you need them to do as an individual. But when you start looking at like the collective, that's not going to work if you have a series of women that have the laws behind them and it can influence the children. This is why it was one dude that was saying, well, what we need, I think it was Goldbread, something. He was saying, what we need to do is we need to just be on our purpose, just do this and do this. The women are not doing this because of what men are not doing. The women are doing this is because of the group that, and this is not passing anything off. This is just what it is. Women can go to the white man for resources. BGS just showed it. A woman with a single kid can get $72,000 in benefits per year. That is now. That is not even like in the past. So they have no reason to comply with you. It has, the reason they don't comply with you has nothing to do with you. This is not to say you don't need to be on your shit. You be on your purpose and be on your shit so you can create the economic outcomes and quality of life in order to basically go to get the women that are on your program, to qualify the women to do what you want them to do. Whether it's black women, non-black women, intercultural dating, interracial dating, what you want to do. That's the point. And another dude was saying, well, the values of America is just to get this money. He's right. Kendra talks about that with the lost value system. Money is the only thing that matters. You're not going to talk your way out of that shit. The only reason why these females even buy into you talking is because they're trying to get fucked. And some of you all, a lot of you all know how to emotionally interface with a woman to get her sexually attracted. That shit is not forever, because y'all be the same niggas in the child support court. For real. So we know that these females is not, because it's not about you. And black men have this thing where they think if they just sexually override a female, that's permanent. No, it's not. And even in the ones that y'all know how to lay it down 100%, those women are going to do existential crazy shit because everything else in them in this society is telling them to be defiant. They are defined by their defiance. So so my point in saying all this is not to dismiss anything those guys are saying. It is to say there is no one size fits all solution. There really isn't. And it's not great, because there is no way that you can fix this shit if the women are just going to be defiant. And the only thing that's going to make the women not be defiant is really if the environment changes, which is kind of like what happened with Jim Crow, where the environment made it so they couldn't do anything else. So their quality of life was tied to black men. So now it's like the women are not here because they want to be, they're here because they have to be. And that's really not terms in which I want them here. So I'm gonna have some, if y'all want to come up, I'm gonna have y'all come up. But I mean, people gave me some super chats earlier today. So if y'all want super chat, great. Y'all want Cash App, great, but that's not required. This was kind of impromptu. Shout out to BGS. And so when you had, and shout out to Palmer, I understand how Palmer's doing this stuff, but my thing is, and I do understand this is why I understand some of the criticisms I get. I'm not gonna tell the truth. And I'm not talking about Palmer shit. Sometimes y'all ain't saying shit, so I start to take over. But I do try to be a good teammate. Shout out to Mr. Richard for the $10. You for saving me from Hey Big Head. Hey, I mean, Hey Big Head is I mean, obviously if you want to slide through and fuck a chick, definitely the opportunity is there, but just be aware of what you're doing. Don't fall into the emotional bullshit that these hoes be trying to do. They little stories and shit. And you know who else is great about that? Grinch is great about doing that. And it ain't about, oh, you doing her wrong, because these women have no problem doing what's in their best interest. You giving her a fair exchange. You giving her dick. So don't ever believe that like you need to give them more than that. Now, if you want to, you can, but it's not required. But anyway, like I was saying before, I'm not saying that about Mr. Palmer's thing, because they had some great perspectives. But the thing, great perspectives. But my thing is, you have to deal with the observable world that's in front of you right now. You have to be pragmatic about it. It can't be, well, this is how it should be. This is how it's supposed to be. Nobody gives a fuck. The truth is, we live in a very what are you going to do about it society, in the American society. And your women, everything they say is one example of what the fuck you're going to do about it. and you talking to them makes them believe you really not gonna do shit. And you, yeah, what's up?
What's going on, bro? Yeah,
Nah, nah.
I was a brother Noble that had got on right before you got off and said ask you to start the stream. Um,
Okay,
yeah,
you were the one that was showing your face. Okay, because I
yeah,
didn't
yeah,
really
yeah.
hear what you had to say. Because what I'm
Yeah, I
talking
know
about
you
is
had
based
dropped
on
straight
the
off.
church shit. But go ahead.
Well, yeah, I had jumped in right after he was
Okay.
speaking about that. But I think from what I was hearing, I know Atticus was doing his thing, but you guys brought up a lot of points at that point. That conversation that needed to be had. I didn't know what was your particular topic, but I know you had mentioned, continuing to this. I'm like you said, it's
Well,
impromptu. But
how it
I think,
started, to give you a quick synopsis, this is how it kind of started to go off the rail. Like, well, not off the rails. It wasn't off the rails. It was a good sidestep. But I brought up, it was one dude that, it was a black dude, and it was a light skinned chick that looked mixed. And the black
mhm.
dude looked like he could be like, Panama, Central America. I mean, he
Oh
was
yeah,
black,
yeah,
but it's like, if you don't think, and if you look at where he was, the region of where the story happened. So I just brought up the fact it ain't always African Americans doing this, because we do got like 10 million of folks are like either immigrants directly or first gen. So this is not to absolve anything. And then Atticus kind of came up, and he wanted to talk about how you don't, it was almost like he was running interference on that, talking about like trying to freeze the conversation. And
yeah.
we
That's
went
what it
back
is.
and forth for a little bit. And then, because I was saying, dude, if you want to talk to me directly, we can have that conversation. But Palmer's trying to talk about something else, and these
Right,
other guys want to talk. Because he'll sit there and freeze it and then do on some soliloquy. I'm like, dude, what the fuck?
right.
And I didn't want to be mean about it. And then we kind of got into, people had other perspectives, like Big Mike and stuff. We talked about other angles on that, because he covered like his 3 stories he wanted to cover. So that's kind
Yeah.
of how we got into like that. But anyway, go ahead.
Well, I'm on constantly on Mr. Palmer show. I love his integrity, and mainly through the baby
Hmm.
mama thing. I'm not on child support, but the baby mama terrorist thing is something that I think everybody is extremely like scared to talk about and put the conversation there. It needs to really just be there. All the other stuff is mundane. Everyone knows they don't have it upstairs, to bring it downstairs. It's really not that. What you see on Kevin Samuel's show, you can see in any cell phone store when a black female not having her way. Really can't back up anything. Once the conversation is down to their motherhood, how they are killing children, how they're abusing children, how they're molesting children, like the Polite situation, if you know who Polite is, whatever. Yeah, he with that child, but that mother more than likely sold that little girl. That happens a lot. And when if we sit and keep talking about the effects that comes from this cause, we ain't getting nowhere. Like I said on the show right before you got off, one of my videos, my mission statement, I said if all the seeds that we put out are going to be compromised and tainted, how can we expect to receive a harvest? 83% of our children experience abuse between 0 to 18 years old. 83%. What state exam, what college exam can you pass with a 17%? Between 1991 and 2017, our children's suicide rate, when black females have custody 80 to 92% percent of the time, the suicide attempts for our children increased by 73%, while so-called white children's decreased by, well, I don't know the number, they said decrease. So the fact that our children are trying to take their own life in this process, during this process from being
Well,
around
you
this,
can't question motherhood. The black mother is God. Dear
like
mama
fuck,
syndrome. But go ahead.
like fuck I can't, like fuck I can't. I'm
Well, I
36
mean,
years
in the
old.
society.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
but go
know.
ahead.
But that's what I'm saying to society. Like, fuck, I can't. I don't give a fuck about none of that. I'm 36 years old. My dad was a hitman. My older brother was a dope boy. I'm from Liberty Heights in Gwinnett, Northwest Baltimore. I ain't never ran from no police. I ain't never ran from no killer. And I'm definitely not about to run from no black female who I'm bigger, faster, stronger, more talented, and smarter than. Y'all have to put things in proper perspective. You got to understand that men across this country, our men across this country, deal with real life counterintelligence agents on a day to day basis. We deal with the number one murderer on the planet, which is in terms of out in public, which is city and county cops. We deal with real killers every day. They don't they don't brag about how we kill them. We're well equipped to deal with the worst murderers on the planet. And I'm not about to tiptoe around no female. when they the epitome of your existence, all your value systems start and stop with when I feel like it. Your motherhood is something I can create when I want to. Whether you're protected is whether I feel like it. And yes, I'm speaking for men because that's what men do. I speak for other men. Another man has a right to open his mouth and go, no, he don't speak for me. But I'm going to speak for men. We create your motherhood. We make you a wife. Cause precedes effect. And I'm with anybody, any one of our brothers, and like you said, you light skin 5'4". I don't care. And the other brother was 6. I don't give a shit. You dictate where this our people go. Everybody starts with you. You are the cause to every effect. Some mystical thing where there were just women until y'all prove that. Keep that shit the fuck out of my face. In reality, what we're doing here now is the men lead it. And I don't agree with the shit Kevin Samuel says about why are men trying to protect the race when they not. Nigga, I'm not tick for tatting with them. The race is what the fuck we choose it to be. Because every time you fuck up and you fail, what they run? Oh, you gotta watch where you putting your seed. Nigga, I'm putting it on Earth. Either way, I'm not putting it on another planet.
Well, that's black men. First of all, yeah, I agree with pretty much everything you're saying. A lot of times with the problem with black men is black men suffer like that picture with an elephant in a chair, but it's not bolted down, but it's connected to the trunk.
Yeah.
So the bigger, so you're dealing with dudes that logic is not. This is why these dudes are emotional. David Carroll talked about this stuff a lot. It's not logic, and these dudes are not thinking about it logic because that mystical shit works. Because a lot of these niggas believe it. And usually it takes somebody slapping the shit out of it verbally. It sounds like what you're doing, and that's what's needed, which is why we're on here in the first place. Even the tit for tat thing you talked about with Kevin Samuels, that's the audience in their minds trying to rationalize what they do with the women because at some point they're trying to save her. I made this joke the other day. It's like Padme Amidala, on her dying on her deathbed, talking about they're still good in him even after he choked her ass. It's like that in reverse though with black men. And black men just don't say I'm okay. You're either they don't simplify it enough to like you're either an asset or you're either an asset or your liability. If you're I can find I'm enough of a man where I could get in here and get the assets I need. If you're a liability, look, man, I'm gonna leave you to Darwinism. Meaning you're gonna be left to the jungle. And then when you start to see the results of these women being left to the jungle, then and whether they got kids or not, then niggas wanna start having a heart and want to save these bitches because they want to save their mama because that's what they think they daddy did to them, they mama, and that's the problem. And that's right. And so we can't really. So part of why we even do the tit for tat shit is because shit. You heard them niggas. You heard them niggas that called into Kevin. Like the fuck else you go talk to them about?
I'm with you on that. That's like I
but
said,
you can disagree with that too. But that's I'm not even justifying it. But that these niggas, niggas were gone. You shouldn't have talked to them in the fucking first place.
But here's the thing. Everything you saying is correct. Them niggas was trash, garbage. They didn't even make any sense. But they're not listening because why do you have so many people on that call? And I only watched it through Kevin Samuel's show. I'm through Mr. Palmer's show. You got all these niggas on the call to debate whether you have a right to choose or not. The fuck is that about?
Well, that was the point of the show. So the point,
that's what I'm saying. But you never get to that point. You can't win that argument.
So he did. So remember, Kevin did a whole monologue for like an hour and a couple of minutes, and he rarely even opens it up for men. He basically laid out like the whole reason why, and basically what he said is, this is not about saying fuck all black women. This is about saying that women part in this society. Your greatest power, I say this, your greatest power is your ability to choose. And so if a woman is not on your program, you're not, even you explaining to a female is a gift. Really what you should do is just say, fuck it, and bounce, and then go get somebody that can, whether they black, whether they otherwise, because it's us having conversations with women is a gift because we don't have to do it. And so really opening up competition will force women to act like they need to because that's dudes accepting their choice. What you pretty much saw is a whole bunch of men that they refuse. I'm not saying you got to interracially date. You can interculturally date. You can date with classes. These dudes only want to date a certain type of female, and this is why everything we do is rotated around changing that female. And just to go into one other thing you were talking about, if you look at my screenshot, I'm not gonna have this for long. This was disgusting. This came on my like Twitter feed, and it says some random bitch talk about just got my body done September 27th and found out yesterday I'm pregnant. So I mean, that means you immediately started fucking after you got it done. This isn't fair at all. And then one chick, that's not even the worst thing. That's not even a big deal to
I'm
me.
pretty sure.
The thing under it was what really like
Uh,
annoyed me. 5 hours later, get rid of that fetus. Meet us in the streets. This
this
bitch
is
thinks this is funny.
this
Like
shit is
like the
despicable, bro.
yeah, the shit the first chick said is on some I'ma roll my eyes at some goofy shit, but that ain't the worst shit I heard. But what that bitch said is auspicious, showing her face. Like this is how they think. There's that murdering shit you was talking about. Well, you were talking about the
Yeah,
cops, but
yeah. Well, no, I'm talking about them first. Like I'm gonna
yeah,
post in the private
they
chat.
they co-conspirators.
I'm gonna post in the private chat the etymology of the word child and see how fast you see the word fetus in it.
Yeah, sexy red talk about that's a waste of money. Well, we're not even if we take all of that out of it and you just look at the common sense. Even that part just speaks to the lack of discipline. A lot of these chicks ain't got no pussy control no more. Dudes know if this chick is sexually attracted, I don't gotta do nothing. We fuck it. Let's keep it real. If a woman is sexually attracted to you enough, I could bounce that bitch head off the fucking wall and know she'll come back. Like the truth is, that's
Yeah.
and I'm not allowed to say that, but you bitches that when these your family be trying to protect y'all, when a dude do something to you, and then you go back with him. I told women in my family, if y'all do like one chick tried to do that, I say you do it. It don't matter what he do. I'm gonna tell him that. Like we gonna tell him that just so you know. So you go back with her and we do something,
Mm-hmm.
and then you sit there and you disrespect what we did by doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And if something happened again, all y'all gonna know it's on site.
Mm-hmm.
So that means yep, it does mean if he fucking kill your ass. That's gonna be between you and him and the cops. So you go back to him if you want to. You don't get, and this is where that village bullshit comes in. Women like to talk about the village, but they don't want to be accountable for the village. That's how you know they want welfare by another name. It's the same way they think of masculinity. They want the benefits of
Carl,
masculinity, but they want to control it at the same time. And it's like,
Carl,
that's not how that works.
yes, absolutely,
And
absolutely.
dudes will negotiate with them. And here's the problem. The difference between like somebody like you and somebody like me is even though you seem like you're a little bit more direct than I even am, I will kind of talk on both sides of it, but I know the difference. That's why when Big Mike was talking and stuff, I acknowledged what he was saying, proved to him I knew what he was talking about. But at the same time, I still kind of expanded it. Not really deny what he was, but expand when he was saying that dudes need to control their seed. I said, yeah, but here's the bigger picture, and but the thing is, you got dudes that they honestly don't know the difference. So
It's
their emotional default is to go with the bitch because they don't know the difference. Go ahead.
That's correct. That's correct. That's correct. You absolutely you said it because what all I was going to say to that is that it's a generic term, and I think that conversation needs to be headed down like 50 levels of what that really means, and it jumps right back to the Kevin Samuels video where he spoke to the fact that I mean a lot of those dudes that were talking. The thing that I did understand with I didn't agree with them, but I understand their point of which is again why I disagree with Kevin Samuels is our this is our race. They
It's
don't
okay
belong
to
to the
disagree
them.
with Kevin.
No,
Kevin
no,
ain't
no, no. I
about it.
don't. I couldn't give a fuck. Shit, I don't give a fuck about none of that shit. I definitely would disagree viciously. I got a lot of shit I don't agree with him with, but I don't want to take away from because I disagree with him. Don't mean I don't agree with a lot of other stuff. I know how to be human and acknowledge that he says a
Oh,
lot of
okay.
stuff that's good, but he said a lot of bullshit that I don't agree with. But I disagree with him with that fact in terms of why do we keep defending the race when they don't? Because this is our race. So a lot of those dudes are saying, you know, what about our people? What about doing whatever, keeping our shit together? Because if you look at it, because Kevin Samuels was referring to the economic power. Well, nigga, we got niggas that jump from the free throw. We got niggas that moonwalk. We didn't produce our genes is the number one asset we have. That's something that we do actually own and control. So that is something that we have to take seriously.
Well, yeah, the child.
That
Yeah, see,
opens, but that opens the conversation. That doesn't mean we have to. I don't think we understand how to control it. I think the conversation needs to be had, not dismissed. But then them
Yeah,
niggas
yeah,
and
yeah.
not be gung ho like them niggas was, but not be dismissed like Kevin
Yeah,
Samuels
no,
did.
absolutely. I mean, yeah, he took it the way he took it because them niggas were talking stupid, and there was a better.
I'm
I
with
mean, James Anthony Brown, or not James Anthony Brown, is one of the dudes on So What show. He tried, but see,
Jeff Brown. Jeff
yeah, Jeff
Brown.
Brown. But see, the problem was he wasn't gonna make that. So here's the argument. Here's the argument as to how you do make that.
I'm listening.
It's very simple. It's called intercultural dating. You don't actually need to go overseas to do that. There's plenty of
Mm-mm.
Africa. There's plenty of you could go to the school, the colleges here. There's plenty. There's even
Yeah.
African clubs. I'm in North Carolina. There's African clubs. So there's plenty. You go to the nearest African church. There's places you and I'm talking about expanding your options. I'm not talking about running away from anything because, like I
Mm-hmm.
said, I say about 80% of black women, ADO's black women, and that's not to say that non-ADO black women don't have their problems. Because goddamn, yes they do, and they be influencing a lot of African women on some stupid shit too. African American women. So there is no one size fits all. It's about increasing the number of the possible pool depending on what you are. So you don't have to go overseas to do that. So when he dismissed that, that's actually not really true. Because if you're in the Northeast, you got plenty of people there ethnically black but of different regions. But see, dudes are not looking at that because that guilt is setting in. If you push
Right.
dudes on doing that, they start to get guilty and they start saying stupid shit. And then I'm gonna bring you in, Jesse. They start saying stupid shit like, "Oh, well, I need a woman that we can identify with, or we're the same culture. I can't teach her how to," like dumb shit like that, which is how you know they haven't put the thought into it. Which means it's like you just go deal with this dusty bitch. When I say this dusty bitch, I'm talking about an actual 304. The type of chicks that if you're in the hood, you grew up around, and that's all you know. So that you want to
Mm-hmm.
change her rather than expand. You don't got it. Fuck if you want to keep it black, cool. I want to keep it black, right?
Yeah.
So intercultural dating, and this is how I knew people are full of shit because I'm like, you don't hear no pro blacks talk about this. Anybody that's pro black, they never want to do that because the goal is to keep that bitch satisfied. So Kevin, I'm not even justifying what Kevin was doing. That's a
Yeah.
whole show you can do.
Yeah.
People can do on that, but the problem with them niggas were coming. The intent behind where they were coming was not the place you wanted to go. They were basically coming, and that includes Jeff Brown. They was coming at it
Caping.
from a. This is why you
What up?
put up with that bitch, and I'm like,
Yeah.
no,
No, nigga.
no,
No. No.
no, because yeah, and he was talking about expanding options of other races. So to be fair to them, that was the
Yeah.
context by what that was being had. But the whole premise of it wasn't working for that particular thing. So I get where you're coming from.
Yeah.
Say what you
I'm,
guys say with that, and then I want to bring
yeah. Because
fucking Jesse in.
yeah, because I don't want to dominate your show. I just I agree with you thoroughly. I just wanted to the same type of wake up
Yeah,
call. My position is different. It's just that it's to also remind our brothers that the sisters here, or the ones supposed to be sisters here, they're not the only cute brown skinned, big butt, wide hip chicks on this planet, bro. And just keep your options open. I talked to a lovely woman from Angola. She live in the UK right now, but she's from Angola. Speaks 3, 4 different languages. She know history. We talk about that. You know what I'm saying? So it's and you just got to take a plane trip, and that's pretty much it. Here, there, and go from there. It's expand. And I agree with Kevin Samuels. You should open it. I'm Puerto Rican, Boricua, Taino, however they want to call it. And I mainly haven't even dealt with my own. I haven't dealt with that aspect at all. So give yourself options because what you said is extremely important. And the last thing I'll say to keep on people's mind is to study how the mind and the brain works, because a lot of this stuff has to do with the fact that the black female has never considered two things. I have these so-called African children. Why don't I ask African women how to raise them? Because I'm not doing a good job. She's not going to admit that. And the other thing is, why won't we raise these children based off how the brain work? It doesn't come up. All they know is if they have the child more, the baby will forget the dad and they'll like them more. But when you solve the problem is to understand how the brain works so you can start programming yourself out of the bullshit. It's extremely important when
yeah.
I'm
Well,
saying.
they don't care about it because everything they do is their intent is control. Like that's their
Indeed.
intent. Their intent is not
Indeed.
to do nothing quality. Their intent is control and maintain as many resources as possible. And you got to root those motherfuckers out. And because
Indeed.
we don't have finite resources, black men do not have finite protection. Black men, nobody has finite resources. So what you say is the women that are on the team. When it comes to, I'm not looks obviously, but I'm talking about value systems and stuff. Those are women that
Mhm.
be protected and provided for, and everybody else can be left to, like I said, fucking Darwinism. And niggas need to have the strength to number one, identity, and tell the wisdom to identify good black women from bad black women, and then the strength to let them be on their own. Like it's Muslims do this all the time. They don't you you're either on the team or you're not on the team.
Yeah.
That's fucking it.
A nationwide vetting system has to be created. And I
Yeah.
say
Yeah, you
it
got
has to
niggas
be
on
good.
here talking about, yeah, man, I could come up off a bitch, by like
Yeah,
it's yeah. So go ahead,
that's sick.
Jesse.
What's going on, Edward, and the rest of the panel?
Peace.
All right, so here's the deal. What Kevin Samuels is coming from on that show, is just a point of frustration, right? So what you have to understand is Kevin has been actively for the last year and a half, 2 years, trying to get those black women and those black men together, basically. You could really say black American. It doesn't matter if they're ADOS. And he has realized that all of the issues that those black women have in terms of, I mean, we know the issues, right? And so
Well, shit,
I think
April
what he,
too. Go ahead.
right. So what he's saying is basically, so you got to realize what I figured out about Kevin. His really core objective, in my opinion, is to bring back a sustainable, successful, thriving black community. And so if you have such a large amount of ADOS black women that are just not good wife potential, don't want to get married, et cetera, et cetera. You have all of these brothers that are unable to get married because I know a lot of brothers that make over $60,000 a year in their
Mhm.
30s and 40s that have yet to be married, that don't have any children because of the poor choices and wives that they haven't come across. So anyway, Kevin's whole thing is like, okay, if we got to make a black community, and if these women don't want to help do that, then we just need to go deal with other women. That's the whole bottom line of what that show was about. It's like something, because if you look at Kevin Samuels' shows for the last year and a half, he was filled with hope, right? Look at this shit. Like he's been working and trying to improve black women, help them get quality husbands. But something has snapped in his brain within the last couple of weeks, and I
Mm-hmm.
think it's been a slow process where he just that hope is slowly but surely diminishing from his system. And so I agree with Kevin. We should open up our options. I'm not saying date white women or whatever. I'm saying that at this point, because we're in a very difficult position as Black American men right now, as far as I mean, if you're looking at this as a global game in terms of different groups around the planet. I mean, we're in a very, very tough position. And at the position that we're in right now, we need to be keeping our options open to any good wife potential that we have. You know what I mean? Else we're gonna be pretty much wiped out in the next generation or two in terms of our I mean just all of the statistics for black men. Dr. Tommy J. Curry said it. The other doctor whose name I can't remember right now said it. Like black males in general are on the bottom of almost every statistical category as far as quality of life goes. Reading scores of the poorest,
Yep.
mathematics, et cetera, et cetera. So we don't start making drastic moves with our lives in terms of that. Come and think about it, Edward. You got a brother that makes 60 to look at Theo. Theo makes like I think he say he make about 300, 400,000 a year. This dude don't have no biological kids. He's not married. So I mean, he's gonna have a good life, but that shit is in terms of nation building. I mean, it would be a waste for a brother like that that's intact, that is intelligent, that is making that amount of money to just have that money go to waste and not contribute to building up our tribe. And the other thing is, yes, black men in general. I mean, men in general, right? We are the decision makers, and everything comes, through us in terms of leadership. But the thing you have to realize about the black community is what we always say: it's a gynocracy. And so, what does this mean, right? It is the system in the black American community is ran by women. Women are considered on a higher in the hierarchy than men, and men are disrespected within the society. So the thing is, none of the traditional roles in terms of men being a leader and controlling this and that is going to matter because you have to realize, right? The brother mentioned like understanding human behavior. All of the behavior that most of the men in the black community get, they're programmed by women. And so these men are programmed from children to put women above men. You know what I mean? To think as women in this community as leaders, and you're just pretty much the sperm donor. I mean, you're the protection. You're the wallet. You know, you pay for all the stuff that you want, and so you have to understand that this dichotomy within our community, you know, is very different. So you can't really say that the men control things in the community because of the programming. If you understand the programming, I've seen this shit from a child, man. Like just looking at little black boys, how their mothers program them. You know, you see the shit on the YouTube where she got the little
Yeah,
boy.
they underestimate the depth of the problem. They really do.
Oh
Like they
yeah,
What do you mean by
understand
that?
they underestimate the depth of the psychology.
Yes.
When you are the brainwashing, when you start hearing grown ass men that are like 30 in their late 30s, early 40s, when a woman can kill your son, the
Yes.
way that happened, it wasn't just and it was an accident over you, and you said your reaction is she was a good mother, and then let's take the boy out of it with those two little girls that was shown on Palmer, and then her doing what she did, and then you just charging it to mental illness for that shit to be possible, and the dudes say what they say. That's some shit you don't hear from other races like that. You don't.
exactly.
Well, and
If you
look, white
guess
people do
what?
some crazy shit too.
Guess
But
what, Edward?
yeah, go
If
ahead.
that was a damn white dude and his damn kids got killed, he would have killed her ass. Best believe that.
Yeah, and the parent, because it was a similar situation where a white female did it, and then they snitched on her as soon as her siblings, the woman that killed the kids, as soon as they found out this is one of their siblings, they told on her ass as soon because they the way it happened. I got to bring up the art. I think shout out the Pink Book. I didn't want to really promote her on Palmer shit, but shout out the Pink Book Lessons because that's where I got a lot of this stuff. She covers this shit, and she don't be holding back. And she's got the one with a white bitch too. And they kind of saw that the girl wasn't there, and they went along with it at first, but like quick, like really eventually, like, and it wasn't even a long time, but eventually after like a week, like or something, they went looking behind her back because of some shit she said just didn't make sense. It was like on some don't bother me with this shit, and then they found her body in the refrigerator. Like, and then they told her immediately. It wasn't no fucking let's cover it up bullshit. It was no, they don't play that. And I'm not saying they do they shit. My point is to not we know white people do crazy shit more than we do. I'm talking about when it comes to that woman, they don't do that.
Yes.
Oh, she's a woman, she needs to be protected. That bullshit about you can be a female and then if you kill your grandkids, you're gonna be no, they don't do that. That's not how they operate. The women don't get let off the hook. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that they don't do crazy shit themselves.
And let
I'm
me just
saying
say
that
this one more
aspect.
thing.
I agree
The
with
bottom
Kevin.
line, the bottom line, right? As black men, if you don't control the minds of your children, it's a wrap.
That's true.
Who
Yeah,
controls the minds of the children determines how the community will operate, what will be
He
the
who rocks the
hierarchy in the
cradle rules
community.
the world.
He who
Well,
it will show you who will be the leaders within the community. That's the bottom line. If you don't control, because I mean, I've read, and I've seen how these white patriarchs, Kennedys, the Bushes, and all these other guys have controlled their children and have steered their children into that patriarchal system.
yes.
And I've seen the exact opposite in the black community, how we're controlled and programmed into
and you
a gynocratic system.
Yeah, and you
Well,
got to be willing, and you can't be passive with that. The problem black men refuse to really enforce, even if black men had the power to enforce shit. Like if you put black men in a situation where the white man was gone, I don't believe black men would just all of a sudden start enforcing shit. They gonna want to negotiate with the bitch. They gonna want to start giving
well,
anyway. Before I go forward, because I know we got Zulu, we got a couple people in here, James in here too. So I want to get him after this. I'll let you respond, Noble, if you want to respond, but I want to play this first. This is that clip from David Carroll. This is like the initial thing before he plays the video. This is that shit while I was talking about what they were doing. It's kind of faded, but whatever, y'all. Let me know. And I'm curious what some of the females in the chat think, because I see Sexy Reds in here. I see Kareen's in here.
So I
Yeah, hold on.
agree with Kevin.
Oh, my bad. That I was recording this while you was talking, so whatever. Just
So I agree with Kevin. We should open up our options. I'm not saying they white.
shit. Y'all don't need the damn thing sound.
Are y'all gonna mute up or not? Like,
No, it's not their fault. This is the recording. That was part of the recording because I was recording it while Jesse was talking. Now, what y'all don't hear from this is the bitch giggling when she was doing this. The mother that was filming this.
It's a sick one.
That's what y'all don't hear. And he played it like multiple times. It's like only 5 seconds. So I want y'all to understand what you all are looking at. Because at first I didn't. We know what's going on in video, obviously. But this is the girl's mother is filming this. And she's looking up like, what the fuck? When she looks up, that's her. She's looking at her mother.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now you got Negroes that will justify this, and this is kind of like a thing. Yeah,
It's ridiculous. Like she a dog.
yeah, and this is her mother filming this. This is not like, okay, this is not an adult that's here. This isn't. Her mother's right there, and her mother's giggling. Let me see if y'all can hear it. My bad. I should have
So
hold on. Let me do it this way. I know how the fuck I'm gonna do it. Give me 1 second. I want y'all to hear that giggle. I don't want nobody to think that I made it look worse than what it was, because you know how these motherfuckers are.
we actually believe you, Ed. I mean, we can always.
No, I want to hear the giggle.
Did he drop off, or was that just me?
Yeah, he dropped off.
My bad.
He
They
come
want
back.
me. They want me to play it. They want me now. Hold on. Give me 1 second, man. I appreciate your patience. I want y'all to go. All right. All right. Because if you do it like a certain way, like StreamYard, like kick you out. Okay. There we go. Yeah. Anyway, so let's go. See, that giggles in the beginning. You hear that?
Honestly, no, but
you hear it. It's in the beginning of the video. Watch when it switches.
Barely.
But I know it's a lot of sound. Anyway, all right, y'all get the picture. Y'all want the rabbit hole? You got to email David Carroll. You got to be in my Discord, because we launch him every time he drops them. So anyway, James, what's up?
Hey, what's up, fam? What's going on, gentlemen? Interesting topic, tough topic. I think one of the things that a lot of men and brothers have to do is you got to have a strong blueprint on the direction of what your son or daughter direction that you want them to go into, and that has to be presented to whoever you plan to have a child with. And if they can't follow the script, it's a no-go. Because it's getting to that point, I think, for brothers seeing the demise and the destruction, the consistent unhealthy behaviors. It's a society of chaos, right? Dealing with these sisters, and it's no room for fucking around, especially in this climate right now where we got so much stress load to perform as men, and then you have this crazy imbalance with a woman who just don't want to fucking listen, and it's just it's like, honestly, you got two guns to your head. The one gun is the burden to perform, and the other gun is you know what I'm saying, is this bitch gonna follow what I'm doing? Because I know what I'm doing, but does she believe in the system? It's sad to say, it's like coaching high school or professional athletes. Do you believe in the system? Even though I have a track record that shows you that I'm successful. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, and it didn't turn into a "We Love Kevin" session, Quincy. I mean, nobody's really disagreeing with Noble's assessment. We're just further explaining like where he got it from, kind of the conversation and the history behind it. That doesn't make him wrong. It ain't well, you don't know the context, so let me tell you the context. We're just adding into it because I understand where he was coming from. Because truthfully, the simple answer, and I've said this before, the simple answer is we don't. Us even talking to you is a gift. And the problem is black women have this belief. Black women understand that if we're still having a conversation with them, they still feel they're in control. And this is why when me and Dana were kind of going at it on Shannon stuff, Dana had this thing about trying to tell black men we don't have a patriarchy. But I'm like, yo, you don't want a patriarchy. You act
No, you
like
don't.
you're cool with a patriarchy. And she kept on saying, well, I shouldn't even be in room. That's not true because you cut the nuts off of your sons. You all don't raise your sons to be patriarchs. You're not like how it is in the feudal system where they raise it like if they in control, it's because something happened to the dude because he died or whatever. So she's doing her role in preparing him, and there's other men that's helping to do that. But she's just the main custodian because how it is, and then he takes over. Y'all do everything y'all can to stop that, but then y'all want to say, "Well, I do what I do." Because what happened was somebody was talking about going overseas with the passport situation, and then she was saying, "Well, those women are under a patriarchy. We're not under a patriarchy." I'm like, but that don't give you the right to be a black bitch because you ain't under a patriarchy. Like you make it sound like if you disrespect me, you think that shit because we not under a patriarchy that makes that shit okay. That doesn't make that okay. Like that doesn't absolve you from what you're doing. Just like hold on, it ain't even about who. I'm just saying, it's just like if your sons can't read and you're the custodial parent, You don't get to say, well, I'm not in a patriarchy, so men are not basically forcing me to do it. So that means somebody should be like, oh, that makes sense. That's not how that works. But women will have that duology where they act a certain type of way because they kind of know. This is why black women don't date out for the most part, because they understand they can't pull this off like that anywhere else. They can't even pull this shit off amongst Caribbeans or amongst Africans like that. Because even I'm not saying that they're perfect, but they're not gonna get away with the shit. What we let our women get away with is like on some superhuman shit. This is why as soon as they leave the community, they get popped. Because dudes can't even instinctually react to that the right way because you have to be socialized to respond to that. Like they go in the store, they start popping that attitude, they start getting bopped, and they wonder why. It's because dudes are not socialized to handle that. This is why white women are very passive aggressive with their bullshit. They don't you ain't gonna see no white bitch get right up to a white man's face like what the fuck you gonna do. They do they shit off of manipulation and shit because they know what time it is. That's
They getting bold now, man. I can tell you out here in Atlanta, they getting bold with it. The new white girl, they bucking.
Well, now, but you get what I'm saying now. But that took a lot of programming too. But they still not what black women are. And we're talking about white bitch, not white bitches that are like Ace of Spades white bitches.
No, I'm talking about white chicks.
Yeah, well, yeah. For the most part, though, that's still very few where they getting at it like black women do. Well, because white men will fuck their ass up.
Well, yeah. So
I was gonna say this, Edward, about your earlier thing about intercultural dating in the U.S. The only issue with that is that the non-ADOS black people in general, but particularly the women, are in very short supply in the U.S. Like when you look at it, non-ADOS blacks are really like 1% of the black population. And the other 99% is ADOS blacks.
No, I think they're more than that. I think they're more than that. But it doesn't matter. There's grossly not enough. You're right.
What I was going to say was the data that I saw a couple of years ago was 40 million, ADOS blacks and like 40, I think it was like 4 million black immigrants.
So that would be like 10%, but it doesn't matter. There's not enough because most of the dudes coming over here. No, what I'm saying is you're right. So let's not get bogged down in the data because you're absolutely right. Most of the non-ADOS blacks that are here are men anyway. So you're absolutely. So it's not enough. You're right. It's nowhere near enough at all. But go ahead.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I just had something to add on. I think one of the things I had a conversation with a sister yesterday, right? And she's like early 30s. And I said, the difference between you had during that 90s era and the much older millennials, I remember, and maybe some of you, gentlemen can, speak on this, right? Women back then weren't as bold as they are now.
No.
False.
And then one of the things I told her, right, and I made it quite clear, I said, the shit y'all do now, you're very fortunate that you don't have men that still run around like they did in the 90s.
Well,
But
because you
it's
still
not bold to them. To them,
yeah.
it's not being bold. To them, it's
Yeah,
normal.
no, I get what you're saying because you gotta remember in the 90s was the decade after the crack era, just like
Yeah.
how like 2000s is still very real to us and stuff like that. So you still had the type of dudes with that, and plus assault wasn't viewed the same way that it's viewed now.
Yeah.
Right.
Like you talk about like before 2000, so you can slap, I keep it real, you can slap a bitch and then you get arrested, but you not gonna get labeled as pretty much now. If you bounce it don't matter if the chick hits you, like when Shannon kept pulling that dude, that man slapping him. If you hit a chick now, you might as well be labeled a child predator. Like it's pretty, it ain't as bad, but it's up there as far as fucking with your job, fucking with your everybody, saying your own family. Look, niggas like they ain't nobody asking what happened. They asking it don't matter.
Which is crazy. Which is crazy because black females in this culture, in this country, beat children more than men beat them.
Oh, and that's great. I'm glad you said that.
And that's a fact.
That's a fact. I'm glad you said that too.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that because when I was telling, what I'm saying, girl from yesterday, it's like, I don't think you understand the type of men that were running around in the 90s, right? There was that no nonsense, you know what I'm saying? And men were way more.
They will put your ass somewhere where they don't look for people at.
Exactly, right? Because I told her straight up, like, I didn't know about this until later on, where I heard about dudes on the West Coast when bitches used to come out their mouth, they used to throw them bitches in the back of the trunk, and you don't know where the fuck you going.
I mean, look at Dre. I mean, look, I'm not gonna lie, it's out there, shit. Dre's got protection because of Jimmy Iovine. He's got the small hat, but it's well known, Dre. And Dre ain't no small dude. That Dre in that Straight Outta Compton is not the in the movie is not who Dre will beat the shit out of a bitch. Go ahead.
You know what's crazy? I knew niggas back on the West Coast. They used to, you hear the rumblings, but I think I saw something on Vice, and one of my mans is from Oakland. He was like, "Nah, we put these bitches in a place."
Now niggas gonna be like, "You're promoting violence against black women." Watch, I'm gonna get that.
The thing about it is that it's not just the 90s, right? You got to realize over the last 40 plus years, there's been a campaign of stopping violence against women. So if you look at the data from since they started doing data like in the 30s or some shit, like domestic violence incidents has went down drastically from those time periods. So that's one of the things that's working against us as men is the threat of violence to women is not there like it was.
And let's make no mistake, a big reason why that is not because black men were doing it, because remember, a lot of the folks y'all talk about were people that were really in these streets like that. So these women are there for fast money and good dick. So they knew why the fuck they were there. But so this one, because people are trying to act like, well, this is about all black men. No. This is where that square shit happened. Now, because by the way, dudes, even if you take out the legal framework, dudes that had like good jobs and shit had shit to lose. Versus if you in the streets and you getting your money in the streets, that shit don't matter one way or the other. Because it's like if you call the cops, okay, then some real shit go happen, and you already want to be there because they dealing with some carnal alpha shit as far as the female, so they don't know what to do. And then if you did so anyway, so I wanted to say that, but the laws that you're talking about, Jesse, was really because of what white dudes are doing. Just like how they used to talk about how it was legal to rape your wife. Man, it was legal for white men to do that the way they say it. Black women could call the cops on a black man for whatever reason, and they get them. So all them laws were because they needed to get these white men up off their ass. But go ahead, Jesse.
Keep using that Color Purple movie as a biggest.
I mean, I didn't get a chance to go at all, but I'll keep waiting.
Oh, my bad. Zulu, because I got Zulu, then Mel, then PK. And then, like I said, we're going to be on for maybe another 30 minutes because this one's something I was going to do forever. So, what's up, Zulu?
Hey, what's up, guys? I want to say hello to the panel and hello to Edward. Like I said, I live in Atlanta, so I guess I'm in ground zero for the fuckery. And as I can tell you, it's starting to get so bad out here. It's to the point that I stopped fucking bitches out here. Like I personally just stopped.
Nigga, I thought you was gonna say he said I stopped fucking bitches. I'm like, damn.
No.
You're not making Kevin Samuels look good, nigga. No, I'm playing. Go ahead.
But it's to the point that now I just cannot. I had to basically just stop fucking Atlanta chicks, and I knew with two scenarios where I knew I had to stop fucking the chick. I talked to one chick, and then she was like, "Oh, so you don't want to fuck with us because we some heathens."
Zulu.
And when I
hold on, Zulu. Let me tell you how bad it is. I know a nigga. I heard this on a panel. I know a nigga said, "Nigga, I fuck single mothers because at least I know they'll fuck." Somebody said it. It may have been UPK. Somebody said I fuck single mothers because I know they in Atlanta. But go ahead, Zulu.
Oh yeah, that too. And then another shit. Like I'm not gonna lie to you, I end up fucking one of these single mothers, and like I'm done now.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
is that bad?
Mm-hmm.
Bro,
that nigga said, he said, I'm done now. Like,
scenario, if I explain the
scenario,
bro, you gonna think I'm either you gonna eat. The shit that I saw necessarily when I came to that chick house, bro, made me almost lose faith in humanity, bro.
Yeah, it's bad. It's really bad down there.
You think I'm like joking on some shit? Like I'm saying, like
no. I mean, PK on here. PK is like let PK tell you like all them niggas, and that's a real game. They was giving some real game. Y'all niggas need to pay for it. When they talking about, look, man, if my house is clean and I'm bringing a black bitch in there, man, I fuck it up because they don't want to. I fuck it up. I make sure if any other race, it's gonna be clean. But with black women, I make sure I leave the toilet paper a little bit hanging. Tell them, PK, that you think I'm bullshit because they were doing that on Ramil's panel, and that was the realest shit I've heard. Because that is dead ass true. Like how when you dealing with black women, you purposely slum the house up. You got to slum prep it.
Yeah,
that makes them more likely they'll want to fuck.
It's bad down there, man. Like a lot of women down there they are terrible, man. Like if you go to their houses, the conditions that they live in, as you probably know, is pretty bad.
Yeah, I mean, gotta pull out the air mattress.
And so you know,
some chicks' houses, like, man, like, and the smells, like, and this is not even chicks I'm fucking. But they talking about they getting smashed. I'm like, damn, man, the dude that's smashing these chicks. And like,
dude, let me tell you the worst of it, bro. Yesterday I came from work. I'm talking to the chick. I end up smashing the chick. I'm smashing the chick on the bed. All of a sudden, 5 seconds later, I hear a fucking small cry. I'm like, what the fuck is this? This bitch got the baby in the bed, bitch, nigga. Like it was night when I came.
What?
It was nighttime when I came in.
I've done that too.
Everybody, hold on. Everybody, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, that's happened. I've done that too. Yeah, that's some real shit.
I got something I can top. I got something that might get top all that.
That is some real shit, dog.
I don't want to mute everybody.
He's not joking.
That's normal. That's normal.
He's not joking.
What did you say, Zulu? Hold on. What did you say, Zulu?
So I'm talking to this chick, right? And I mean, she gave me her number and everything. I'm talking to her, whatever. So I'm coming over to go smash her, and whatever, right? So I get into the house, and all of a sudden I'm smashing the chick, and I'm hearing these small, like, faint noises that is, not coming from her. So I'm like, what the fuck are these noises coming from? This bitch got the baby in the bed, nigga. The baby got to be at least one, nigga. The bitch didn't even put the baby in an actual crib in the next room.
So I'm just look, man. You're
my nigga. I ain't even got to the work
nigga,
of it,
I get it. So you're not. Oh fuck! I'm gonna shut the fuck up. Go ahead.
Nigga, so I'm in there smashing this bitch, and I'm like, okay, what the fuck? Like part way through the smash, I'm like, all right, I can't do this shit. I'm about to get ready to go. So I'm getting ready to go. The bitch was like, oh well, hold on. I called my homegirl up in this bitch, and then she come, she smashed you and her too. And I'm sitting here looking like, wait a minute, what the fuck? She's talking about my homegirl. Her homegirl's like, I think it was like her roommate or some shit. And then the bitch bring her baby in there talking about, oh, you tearing this pussy out. I'm looking like, what the fuck is going on in this bitch? I felt like I was in Alice in Wonderland. I was like, I had to get about that bitch, man.
Nigga, that's something you can't. That's fuck what anybody
ever said. He thought this the first time, nigga. Like this nigga thought he was in the Twilight Zone. Nigga, that's normal. That's a normal ass shit.
That's something. And by the way, and I'm not bringing Glendon into this, but that daughter shit with white bitches. So that's in Atlanta in that area too. So I don't know what the fuck y'all doing.
I'm in Baltimore. I'm in Baltimore, Maryland, bro. I'm in Baltimore, Maryland. That shit is normal shit. That is not
like what? Like whoa, because now y'all like now I'm getting too square for some of this shit y'all talking about.
I remember when I was 19, like 19 or 20. Met the chick from Black Planet days. When that was popping and shit. And I smashed her the first night, but the way it happened also too. When I went to her house where she was staying, she came from up north, going to visit her relative's house, and her mother was a drug addict, recovering addict, and it was a two, and she was cursing her mother out like she was her own sister or something like that. Like motherfucker, yo, be out my way, yo, chill out.
Y'all
Like,
better cash out me
and
for these stories, yo.
yo, now I ain't really paid too heed to it because I was just focused on getting the
Oh
pussy.
no.
The
I'm
thing
talking
oh,
about the chat.
oh no, I know you well. I just know you. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I know you well.
Plastic. This some
Yeah,
plastic shit. Y'all
yeah.
about to drop.
But I was
Plastic
smashing. I
black
was
female
smashing
bastard.
this girl right in front of her mom's. Like we made covers right over each other, and she was on top of me.
Oh,
Fucking me. Her
congratulations. You're
mom's was right
glending
there.
now.
Like you know what I'm saying? Like looking like like it was nothing. Like I was like,
No, the
damn.
problem out here in Atlanta is the mamas are in on the hoeing. Like I'm
Yes.
like literally I'm fucking this girl. Like all of a sudden, like she was like, "Hey, can you send me some money?" And all of a sudden, goddamn, her mama was like, "Oh yeah, girl, send her." She got her mama after I sent her some money. She was like, "Yeah, mom, I made some money," and I'm sitting here looking like, "What the fuck going on over here, bro?"
You got a lot of that
bro,
going on too.
That's why I'm saying, bro. Like, what with the polite shit, the polite situation when he got the little girl going to the party with him. It's so normal for these chicks to be sold by their mother. I swear on my life, I'm 36 years old. I done had a minimum of 12 chicks. I mean, sevens and up. Tell me their mother sold their pussy, crying.
Wow.
I'm telling you, real. This is normal.
No, like
Yeah.
I ran into like one shit like that myself, and like when I was like 18, 19 type of shit. Like I was that shit was heartbreaking for me, man.
And see
It
the
is.
reason, but
It's
I'm trying to
heartbreaking.
get back to like. So my thing is, how did you not see the? What she had the baby covered the fuck up at first? How did you not see
My
the
nigga,
bed?
the baby was cut like I'm telling you, y'all all walk. You walk into a
I
room.
believe whatever you're gonna say. You're not on trial here. I just want to know.
God honest, the baby was covered up in the sheet type, like covered over the sheet, right? So when I walk in there, like you really can't, like you see pillows and shit, you see everything near the top of the bed, so you think, okay, that's just pillows. You got
Was it
shit
a
on
big
the thing.
bed?
It's like, it was on the bed, like
Was it an air
like,
mattress?
bro, it was an actual bed,
Okay.
like full queen size, maybe king size bed, man.
You lucked out.
Yeah, the reason I asked because if you deal with some of these bitches, they got an air mattress and they don't got a topper on that bitch.
I seen that shit too,
Ask
bro.
me how I know. Then they you do something and then the baby bounce off the
Nigga, what the fuck have you been doing that?
I know. I'm just using my
That
math.
shit
I don't.
happens. That
Hold
shit
on.
happens,
Hold
bro.
on. Hold
What
on.
you
Let's be
mean?
clear here. I'm square like that. I'm using my imagination
like
based
that,
on
bro.
what
That's
I
why
do
I'm
know.
scared.
Like I
So-
know that I know how air mattresses work. That's why I asked you if it was an air mattress. But
Bro,
as far as
telling
what
you,
you
I
talking
didn't
about,
even
I
know.
don't got no. No, I get it. I mean, you got other niggas that say they got similar situations as you with the baby. I thought you'd be the only one. So
I got a question for the panel.
Indeed.
I got a question for the brothers down south in Atlanta. How common is it to see a lot of
it's
these
not.
big,
Chicago's like that too, Vernon. Go ahead.
wow.
New
So
York.
my question is, how common do you when you run into a chick's crib, she ain't got no bed frame, like I'm talking about mattress on the
Depends.
floor.
Hold on. What do you mean
Depends.
by common? Do you mean like all the time or like
No, I'm just
what do
saying
you mean?
it's random because some of the shit I'm hearing, like, I ain't never heard no shit like this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, okay.
No,
So
so
you
it's
just
like,
asking about like how frequently. All
yeah, how
right.
frequent
So
could you know
so
what I'm saying?
about eight
'Cause
about seven, probably about 7 out of 10 times.
See, PK, where you from though? If you don't mind me asking, sir.
I mean, I was living in Atlanta. I lived there for like 12, 13
Yeah,
years.
see, I remember how this conversation went. This conversation went with BJ and Bitter Truthers on this shit, and we couldn't get into it because Bitter started. Shout out to Bitter Truth. He started preaching like, "You niggas dealing with that dirty pussy," so we couldn't really get into the depths of
When
it.
all your pussy is dirty out here, bro, you pretty much just
I mean, damn. I mean, well, at least they're women. I mean, shit. These fucking trans bitches and all of like it's.
God,
I mean, you gotta remember.
She a con, man.
But you gotta remember, April Mason's in Atlanta. Look, hold on, April Mason, Rebecca Lynn Pope, Nicole Michelle, they're all in the ATL area, and all of them said these bitches ain't shit. In one iteration, shout out to Stacker Star for $20 all Tales from the Dark Side. Absolutely. And my thing is, again, this is not invalidate. No, like in fact, let me bring up another name. Ron Wills. When Ron Wills was talking about the sexual underworld you know, a lot of folks want to clutch their pearls and shit, but what you talking about ain't even necessarily sexual underworld. What you talking about is really the diesel world that that BGS was talking about. So
Well, I
we've
mean,
alluded.
this shit isn't even necessarily limited to the diesel world. Like that's the
Yeah, that
thing. Like this is
it's not.
becoming, you know,
And remember, and
This
see,
is
here's the crazy part. And
regular
again,
hood
I
shit.
am not justifying nothing. I don't want y'all to lose. Oh my God, y'all buy Glendon. But y'all got to remember, Glendon don't even deal with black women. All y'all talk about black women. Glendon deals with exclusively non-black women. So in that area, so it's not just like, I'm not saying this to take nothing off of black women. I'm just letting folks know how widespread it is. So if you know white women are doing it, how common this shit is. This shit is in Atlanta. Oh my God, y'all keep saying Atlanta, but I know some crazy shit in Chicago. Trust me. Remember, Jap is out of Chicago. You see the shit he say. You know, but it's like when Jap says shit like lesbianism is the lowest form of single motherhood. There's a reason why he says that, because you guys don't look, nigga. I did 10,000 rides in the Uber car. Don't fucking get me started on these young bitches talking about they dealing with older females. Like I'm talking about 18, 19, and I'm doing a long trip with them, and then I don't know why they want to tell me their story, but I say, hell, I'll listen. They ain't gonna see me again. They telling me about bitches that left the state and then found them, and then they having a lesbian experience, and they kids, they got not they kids like in this experience. I'm saying these are women that are single mothers that ran away because I guess the dude was doing too well in court. You know, a lot of these women, when they disappear on you and they leave the state because you know, because they don't like how the case is going and they look like dude about to get custody. Like y'all be really acting like, and it ain't, nigga. Y'all listen to Love Dork, like these bitches are wild out here. That's why I understood why Todd City was saying what he was saying, because he in the Tampa, Florida area. So let's see what we got represented. We got New York represented. And remember, a lot of these motherfuckers are ADOS what we talking about. So New York, Baltimore, cause that whole New York area, Baltimore, Florida, because you know Florida, you got Atlanta, Chicago. We ain't even really on the West Coast.
You ain't even
LA, Vegas. Oh man.
We not really
Miami.
in Jesse. Don't front. We ain't even in New Orleans yet. Jesse here. We got representation. Like this shit, and this ain't some new shit. That's why when one person was talking about like the Freaknik days, I keep telling you, motherfuckers,
bring that back.
hold on, time out. We are in the era of the Tokyo Tony grandmother. You talk about bring that back. It never left. Do you know what it's called? Ask me what it's called.
What is it called?
It's called Mocha Fest.
Mocha Fest.
I love you gonna say that.
And I've been in them 3 events too. All before the COVID.
For all these niggas, it's y'all just buying pussy from overseas, dealing with their dirty. Nigga, there is a book called The Pursuit of Happiness. It is written by a black woman in the Duke University Press. It is a published book. Shout out to Dennis Sperling who was talking about it. It is some of these chicks are going to Jamaica so hard that the Jamaican women that are native there are bitching about it. It's like, damn, these bitches are doing the most. Fucking they son getting paid. That Stella how Stella got your groove back shit is real.
Yo,
but see, because men are not worried about where bitches are doing, we don't sit there understood it. Shout out to Cabaret. Shout out to Ghana. Shout out to Gambia. They follow basically anywhere these white bitches go, just like how white men used to do shit, is where these black bitches. This is how they really found out.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yo, Ed, there's a chick that I met at Mocha Fest who wrote a book. It's called.
Hold on. Let Mel go and then you can go.
Okay, I'm go. There's a chick I met at Mocha Fest now, and now when the last time I went over there, and now she wrote this book and everything about let me fuck your husband. That's the title of the book. Black woman. It's probably like around in the mid 40s, something like that. Yeah. She fine as hell too.
And
like,
for the few bitches that know how to read them, Zane novels are off the chains. But go ahead.
Exactly. She promoting the polygamy lifestyle from a black woman perspective. A lot of females definitely starting to get into that now, but they doing it in a way that they running this shit instead of the dudes running polygamy.
It's just women honing themselves, man.
Yep, exactly. Like,
all right, now I wanted to ask Ed that question. Now, real quick. Now, you had said something about motherfucking Gambia, something else, another shit. I want to run that back one more time because I just want to make sure I heard that correctly.
Anywhere these white bitches have been doing this, basically, I want BBC globally, because the Europeans be really off the chains with it. So you got the Caribbean, and I'm talking about dudes getting paid off this shit. You got Cabaret in the Dominican Republic. You've got pretty much any place in the Caribbean is open to this. You've got Gambia. You've got Ghana. These are like really big, muscular black men. So it's known. Those areas are known. You got dudes in Ghana where they literally lift weights. They ain't. I'm not saying they get no income but fucking these old white bitches. And then their market has been expanded because you got black bitches going over there too. Usually though, they're gonna do it in the Caribbean. Go ahead.
No, I've been seeing these like these issues. Like I got a couple of Ghanaian chicks that I talked to like for that day, like which is cool. And they've been saying that they've been having this issue where it's been like all of a sudden the men that started work, they stopped working, and all of a sudden they started lifting weights and just start fucking,
yeah, because they getting real money for this shit. They getting real money for this. Yes, they're getting real. This is not some look. You got to remember, and Ghana, Ghana's got some money, but it's in Africa. So if you're a person in that population, compared to what you could be making there, you bring in, you got a lot of these 6-figure bitches, these fat bitches at 6 figures. They may be managers and shit.
It is the fat
and they go,
that's doing
and it's not. And the white women, it used to be limited. It was still enough, but it was limited. Now you got black women. You know how black people we got to do the most. We're talking about mainly African American women, by the way. And they go over there. That's expanded their market, so they got a bigger pool, and so they're hustling. And a lot of them are hustling. Like some of them will hustle a green card and all that. And women start bitching, but they're hustling. Yeah, I don't know if James, if you can't get in, let me kick you from the studio and then you can come back so you can get back in here. But my point is, and what you're seeing right now is Mocha Effects has been going on for a long time. And a lot of this shit was promoted on your own radio station. Your local radio station. And this ain't just for like, as you can see, there's men here too. Like they even had Safari come over here. Remember Safari had that?
Yeah, I was there when Safari performed over there.
Yeah.
Too.
So
yeah.
this is like there's an economic infrastructure with this shit, and this is like embedded in the radio industry, the cruise industry, because it's a way to sell alcohol and get people. Because a lot of times they'll come here by way of these cruises, which are promoted by way on these radio stations like Michael Page and Tom Jordan Morning Show, and they always try to focus on the older motherfuckers, and then the younger you just gotta know. And then the Mocha Fest is actually the destination. So it's a whole infrastructure. And these will be the same niggas and bitches, not them, but these will be niggas that don't know shit about this. Will be the same niggas like, why y'all going overseas? Why y'all doing it? And I'm like, nigga, black women have more passports than black men. Like, so I just want to show y'all. And it's not the only one. Urban Escapes. I can bring up multiple, and they about to expand it to Greece. And Obsidian did a thing talk about these big bitches, but if you notice, these are actual pictures. See, these are not all big bitches. My point is, there's a lot
some of them
things.
are actual models that's hired by the Mocha Fest also too. I know some of them also. So
yeah, so this is also promoted. This is also promoted, but this ain't all. But this is reflection of what's down there too, because this is like the stripper culture.
Never heard of that.
Looking at right there, yeah. It did start off as just like an alternative event lifestyle for adult friend finders, for the adult, fun and everything. Because it was a hedonism in Jamaica, but they expanded, it became so big, just like Ed said. It became the new Freaknik, Black Bike Week, all that in one. Every night it's a party night. I think from the last time I was there, I got tired like the third day going to the hotel, go to the party.
Usually it's in Jamaica. Yeah, but it can be in. Right. The next one is gonna be in. Like when you say they expanded it, are they like doing multiple ones? Or are they still doing one?
Yeah, they doing. Like you just saw right there. They're going to Greece, Mexico, all over.
Exactly. And a lot of it is you got to you look at the economic structure. This has been going on for years. This ain't some new shit. I got classic videos that I'll be putting on the Patreon to show you with me talking about this like 3 years ago. So this ain't some shit that like it's some brand new shit. And the thing is,
it seems like it's different.
This shit is normal, man.
It seems like it's different from what's it called? Freaknik.
It is because there's a musical thing. But it's also like Bike Week and
it doesn't. Well, I was gonna say it doesn't seem like it's a lot of the public street stuff that Freaknik had. And I will say there's a lot of events that are kind of similar to Mocha Fest. There's like Black Ski Week, and I mean it's not. Promoted as like, okay, we just gonna have sex, but that's what wound up happening.
No, absolutely. So my point, you're absolutely right about that. And the thing is, like, even the point is, the way women are now, the shit is so open and promoted up and down in the society. Because you gotta remember, Freaknik didn't have the slut walk and have like all like, and even when you had Uncle Luke doing the stuff you were doing, it was still well, men are exploiting women. See, I keep saying when you have like Megan Thee Stallion, Cardi B, you got all of these up and coming females. I mean, look at how Chloe Bailey came in. You got all because this is the energy she's trying to do in order to get because they think that's what you're supposed to do. And then you got all these women that got OnlyFans trying to have pseudo rap careers because they trying to come up like Cardi B came up.
Oh my god, the OnlyFans. No. Okay, I'm not gonna lie to you, right?
So my point is, you have this. I'm gonna bring you in, but you have this like literally selling pussy culture, hoe culture, diesel culture that is really starting to be mainstream, and it's definitely mainstream social media. So my point is, you got a lot of dudes. See, what dudes don't really want to understand is your daughters are being groomed and imprinted from shit like this because I'm talking about even at young ages because you got women that have had these experiences and have these mentalities that they need to justify why they did what they did. So they're going to want to loop in other females, including younger girls. And by the way, I do about to bring in the OnlyFans thing. A lot of these females be scoping up the next chicks that as soon as they turn 18 can start an OnlyFans account because they go ahead. I'll leave it.
No, dude, dead ass, bro. I just ran to this shit just yesterday, man. I ran to this chick and I'm talking to her, whatever. And she's like, I'm talking to her, right? And she was talking. I'm talking to her and talking to her friend. And her friend was like, "Oh shit, yeah, I got these bitches out here necessarily running this stroll." And for life of me, I'm a square ass nigga. So I'm like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" She's like, "Nah, man, I got these bitches out here working these stroll. I got 5 bitches. They 118, 121, 123, and another one goddamn. She said goddamn 17. The motherfucker looked 16, dead ass." And she was literally telling me step by step how she would just go travel around the city of Georgia, basically picking up random black chicks. You know that's kind of like down on their luck or something. That got like an eye kind of body and have them bitches selling pussy. And
or hoes that want to be defiant.
You know what's crazy about that? They do that shit in Africa too.
And FYI, and Lionel, I'm not here to say it's bad. This is not me saying it's bad or good. I'm saying it's out here. So the way that it's framed is men are just out here exploiting females like everywhere, and this is not the society we live in currently. That's why I bring this up. Go ahead.
Bro, when I was in,
hold on. Let Zulu finish what he gotta say. Then G, I got you.
Yeah, I'm gonna say the craziest thing is when you talking to the chick, like I stopped going to the strip club probably like after like my first try. I didn't really enjoy it. Now all these chicks now talking about I don't want no pimp, but literally they just traded the man pimp in for a female pimp, and that's really all it is. And I be sitting there talking to chicks, I be like, don't you kind of see that? And they just can't. It's like they can't see it almost.
Oh, because these women know how to run game, and part of the game that they're running is you independent because because women know how to mentally the average. I'm not saying that a woman is good as a pimp, but the average woman knows how to manipulate women a lot more effectively than the average man. So, and if you're in that game, then you got some extra added game. Go ahead, G.
This is the thing, man. A lot of dudes. A lot of dudes are squares, man. They don't understand what the streets is and what's really going on. Right. And they don't understand women's true nature, bro. Women are naturally whores, bro.
I came to that conclusion.
Women are naturally whores, bro.
I figured that out. It took me it took me about until 27.
They naturally lean. They naturally lean into whore shit.
If you don't put limits on it.
They don't want to get judged. So what they do is when they get with a nigga, the first thing they try to do is test his sexual boundaries. Like, nigga, choke me while we having sex, slap me, do this. Every nigga on here had a woman tell them to choke them while they was fucking.
Fact.
That's letting you know right there. This is how women. There was a movie about this shit, right? We talking about hedonism. This shit is normal. This is not nothing new. Like I said, it just be coming out in the open. Like being homosexual is normal. It's just we was living in a society where it was closed off.
Well,
But
you
in
say
European,
I don't know about all that, but go ahead.
no, listen, that shit is
normally
normal,
they're
bro.
white folks.
Listen to what
They
I'm
show
saying.
that shit.
Hold on,
That
let
shit,
Rock.
man, that shit ain't only white folks, man. Get that shit out of y'all mind, bro.
Yeah.
That shit was normal everywhere, bro. Why do you think there's stories going back thousands of years about this shit?
If you want to have that opinion, you're welcome to have it. I'm gonna let you finish. I don't agree with that, but
listen. Why do you think the story of Saddam and Gomorrah exists? That was thousands of years ago, nigga.
I don't want to take it off of that. I don't agree with that, but
I'm saying, remember, we
that.
talking about the hedonism and shit, though.
Well, hedonism.
Remember that movie with Tom Cruise called Eyes Wide Shut?
Yep.
None of y'all seen that movie?
I seen the movie.
No, I mean I get it, but again, like,
listen, that shit is real, bro.
Yeah, I mean, but we're gonna disagree on that. I mean.
Well, you have to understand
nigga. How did we get here?
Underground hedonism, like that, swingers, all that shit is real and it has always existed. It just wasn't in the mainstream. So now that it's in the mainstream, people who was not part of it is acting shocked because they are shocked, and the average dude is shocked because he ain't fucking bitches like that. So he don't understand that these bitches is whores, bro. Most women done had more sexual partners than men ever gonna even think about.
That's so true. I'm figuring that out. I'm figuring that out, and it's kind of scared me. And then when I started telling these bitches I don't fuck with certain kind of chick, they was like, "Oh, so you don't?" When she told me straight up, you don't fuck with us heathens.
Yeah,
that's when I knew I was like, oh, I was already on the pathway, and I was
it ain't because people talk about I ain't ready for the wickedness. Well, my thing, like, nigga, being like, I'm not even going to sidestep into that argument because that'll take it as into another thing. I mean, if folks want to believe that, then I'll leave that to the chat to believe that on some is gay shit normal. Is that some normal shit in Africa? But at the same time, man. Again, the problem as to where it comes in is folks want to function in society. So people want to be carried by see the difference between men doing the shit they doing is because men aren't getting carried by the state. Men can't have, men are being the ones paying child support, not receiving child support. So when people start to say, and this is one thing that a lot of black people start doing to justify shit, when they start saying, well, motherfuckers ain't get that's why the first thing women want to say when black men ain't trying to deal with single mothers is, oh, well, you ain't getting pussy, so that's why you bad. Well, my argument is, why don't you deal with the niggas that are? Why don't you enforce the niggas that quote unquote are getting pussy to do the protection and providing this shit for you? Why you looking for? I'm talking about. I ain't talking about responding to you, G. I'm talking about what women say. Why are you looking for square niggas to pay for the shit that the niggas that made it did? Because you have no leverage over them. And so the part of why I bring this shit up, because I let niggas, whether it's square or not, understand this is the bitch you trying to say. This the bitch you trying to say that needs to be given everything for and all of that. And see, where it becomes a problem with the females is where the females start indoctrinating the children with that. Because part of what I did the video earlier today, I talked about black men don't protect. Black men don't protect their children from their mother's bullshit. The very bullshit that she's talking about. Because the thing is, with men have kinetic consequences to actions. So that shit from a societal level typically limits what men will do at the average group. Women only have limits based on, because men have an honor code. Women only are limited by what the society allows them to do. So if the society, what they can get away with, they don't have the same sense. Most women don't have the same sense of right and wrong that men do, because they look for the society to tell them what is correct and what is like social. They thinking, it's not to say women are bad, it's just women thinking social norms.
Let's just go. But my thing is, let's go there. Let's just stop beating around the bush. Wait a minute, wait for a second. Let's stop beating around the bush and be men and call it what it is. They are powerless. All they are is what they're allowed to be. That's what they've always been. And men need to really be men and say what the truth is, because if you can, just like it's the seven of us in here. If it was one of y'all with 7 women, you could kill all of them. The likelihood of you killing all of them, if it was a fight, is high. They are powerless, and all they are is what they're allowed to be.
Well, what they're
not. They do is what they're allowed to do.
Yes,
but hold on. Let me get in for a sec.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say that I said this earlier in the chat room so that people could have a better understanding of it, and you have to do the research on your own because I don't feel like going into the deep end. But the thing is that it's called cultural socialization. So what's happening is that you have a large majority, I would say the plurality of people are affected by this. So what happens is that the women are actually adopting whatever the society permits, and they pass that down to the children, and it's worked that way forever, literally ever.
That's
Okay,
also called epigenetics.
so once that happens, it's very difficult to reconstruct the framework through which we like to try to reframe it. So you can do it, but it's extremely difficult. The way that we usually limit women's ability to do what we consider to be, debauchery, is through the frameworks that we create, through structures and laws, et cetera, et cetera. That's how we shape the environment as men. But once they already get acculturated to it, that becomes the new norm because they pass that
Yeah,
down to the
and so
children.
and that's absolutely. Hold on, absolutely, and that's why. And by the way, this book is by David Shea called the Secrets of Female Sexuality. It's actually a very good read. If you actually search the PDF, you search for the PDF, you can actually find it for free if you want to go through it. But what I wanted to say is this is why I said it's important when I say the Tokyo Tonys, who's Black China's mother, is the new grandmother, because now you got 3 generations of it. And
Right.
the issue is not me judging it. The issue is they're not cleaning up what they make. What they want. This is where BGS talks about this village wife shit. This is why when you hear women talk about the village, what they're really talking about is another form of welfare. Because what they want is something that they don't have to be accountable to, but will take care of the children. This is why I've often said a matriarchy could work in the Black community if you understand what a matriarchy is, because you're still going to be accountable to the village. Women don't want to be accountable of it; they just want resources from the village. It does not work that way. So from a practice, and see, one of the things that's accountability that women are absolutely defiant to is sexual control, because the men are not going to protect what they don't have a sense of ownership or influence or control over, because that is male nature. And and people want to talk about in the old world. When in the old world, women could be killed and women could be raped too. So when you take all those elements out of it, and then the women are just picking and doing what they want, and there's no accountability or anything they have to fear, then what you have is this out of control spin bullshit, which only can really exist. And see, this is where the white people miscalculated, because the white people basically help create a gynocracy to keep Black men at the bottom. And then what happened is that culture started to filter in female culture when you combine it with the fourth industrial complex. So now they got to deal with their women being openly defiant. This is not to say their women weren't under control before. This is where that promoting white women is this like pure being shit is kind of low key, but fought them in the ass.
Listen, bro.
And that's really the goal of
listen,
feminism is for them to basically mimic what Black women did in the Black community. If you really look at it.
No, listen, man. No, what we're witnessing right now, this happens at the end of every great civilization. At the end of every great civilization's dominance, the culture becomes debaucherous, obsessed with gender, fucking all this weird shit because of the lack of dominance of that said nation, bro. You can look at every great nation that fell, from Mali in Africa to Greece, Rome, all of that.
BGS has talked about this like in the life cycle, so you're not wrong on that front.
This shit happens, bro, and it's not nothing wild. This is how women always have been. Back in the days, there was always those loose women down the street that Granny and them knew about that'll fuck your nigga. So this shit has always been around. And this is why pimps and hoes, and think about this, on every Western movie, them niggas was at the hoe house. They was at the brothel. Bro.
But G, the problem, I understand where you're coming from, but see, one thing that we got to get real clear is it sounds like it's kind of like you're saying, well, it's normal, so it should happen. The reality is, if you,
it actually benefits men. It benefits men. Listen, we got.
If it was controlled, then yeah, but it's not controlled.
It is
controlled. Listen, it's controlled. Right, it's controlled. I'm telling you, niggas. Listen. Niggas just want these bitches to be sugar, spice, and everything nice. The issue is niggas want relationships with these hoes. and these hoes is trying to
Yeah,
get the dick.
G, your approach. See, the problem is you're approaching this from like an abandoned underclass versus square nigga complex. Here's the deal: in the quote unquote abandoned underclass shit, without the
Let
structure,
me come in
this
after
shit,
you.
yeah, the shit does not work. Like that's the thing. Because let's be clear here.
And that's not supposed to work. Like
Okay,
what?
so that's what you. So that's what I'm saying. That's what you're talking about.
Are
So
you an
again,
anarchist?
yeah, like
No, I'm not an
what you're
listen.
talking about is some stuff that we're not
There's
on.
different classes of society, bro.
What I
Inside
would say would
society,
what I
Your
would say is
inside
society.
what,
society.
Because
Okay,
I
real
go ahead.
quick.
wanted to go after Ed. The thing is that you can't have a society function in that way. You don't have a society if you don't have a certain amount of people produce children. And if every woman is a whore, you can't produce a stable society. You just can't. It's not possible.
Yeah, I mean, it ain't
Right.
no
So
The
square. It's
stable
not. It's
there's no.
society,
This isn't a square debate or alpha
bro. The
beta
stable
debate. It just
society is already
is.
here. The
No, it's
stable
not. No,
society
it's
is already.
unstable.
No,
That's
it's
that's
not
Okay,
that's
you're
a
right.
part
stable.
of the
You're right.
that's
all
a
right.
part of the
You
that's
got
a
too,
part
you
of
got
the
too many
reason why we
broken
have a
families as it is.
Yeah, yeah.
that's a
Like,
part of the reason why we have an unstable
yeah, I
society.
mean, but
Okay,
my
Okay.
no,
you're
what he's
missing. You're
speaking
All
to,
right.
missing.
wait a minute, for a second. What he's speaking to is the word that you're missing is sequence. There's a sequence of events that take place to produce this horrible degradation of the
but that's not
society
all
throughout
he's
history.
talking about,
I know,
Noble.
I
That's
get you,
not.
I get you.
But go
And
ahead.
what
Go
he's
ahead.
doing is he's just looking at the end result. Oh, it always happens. What I'm saying is jumping
Well, it's a
ahead of that.
cycle. It's a cycle.
Yeah, it's a cycle, but there's a
It's
sequence
a
of
life
events that
cycle
has
of the civilization.
yes of certain civilizations, and like he said, it's controlled. There's people that are doing things on purpose that know history that want it to benefit them because they don't want competition. We'll deal with that conversation another time. But there's a sequence that takes place that leads you to a G thinking the way he thinks because it just looks like that now. When you look
Yeah,
past
but
history
that
and you
ain't all.
understand
But
it,
that's we understand the cycle. BGS has talked about this. We all understand. PK has heard it. Jesse's heard it. We understand the cycle shit because he's referencing books that talk about that and all of that. That's not where the issue is. The issue is when folks start talking like this is what's supposed. Look, I ain't talking about the sequence is supposed to happen, but like motherfuckers just supposed to sit there and niggas are not investing in this bullshit. This is.
Hey, Edward, a
See,
good.
hold on.
Bro,
Let me
I was
say.
gonna
Hold
say a
on.
good example of what you were saying. Amira actually mentioned that her people, before Islam, was on the same shit as far as like the promiscuity and stuff like that. And so that just goes to show you're not just supposed to sit there and like, okay, well, it's just part of the cycle.
Yeah.
I mean, you're supposed to bring that shit to another part of the cycle.
Yeah,
Like, okay, we're gonna
the
bring the
difference.
structure.
Yeah, the difference. The reason why you see it in the dominant society, the white society, because they're practicing class warfare. So when you look at marriages and stuff like that, and you look at how in the higher income levels, like the 200,000 and up levels, how you don't see this issue as big, it is because they're practicing class warfare amongst other whites. Basically saying you're going to be up there with the niggers and do what we did to the niggers. That's basically what that's going to happen. And they've done it to black people because once they realize how effective it was, this puts black people in a
but
position where
this
black
shit don't
people
affect
hold
all
on,
black
G.
people, Ed.
Black black people are basically spending their money building up other groups, races in the country, and basically we're getting nothing what leads us where we are. Now this is all black people know, but this is the majority of it. This is why hyper consumerism is very much
yes,
intermixed in sex.
yes,
That's also when you
yes,
understand how this stuff is structured, even in the white people, you see why they're being allowed to get fucked over because white folks of higher classes have less money. They're doing it more on that aristocracy bullshit. And white people refuse to call that out, which is why they got their own black woman they don't want to deal with, which is that we're all rich. So we all think we rich. So we all gonna like protect the rich. That's their problem to deal. That's not our problem. Now, now my thing is, as far as you just supposed to accept it and you want some square nigga shit. My thing is, if motherfuckers want to be like animals, then go ahead and do that. But at the same time, do not sit there. And this is the same people that will say you need to come back to the hood. You need to save the hood. You need to not separate. You need to
Oh, the
fucking
hood is
take
dead,
care.
bro. I can tell you
Hold
that.
on, I'm just saying you need to take up these single mother bastard kids. You need to do this, do that. Why? This is where people will take. And I ain't saying this to Eugene in particular, but I've heard the mentality. They'll use being pro-black as a way of trying to elicit other dudes, aka squares, to come back to basically bail
listen,
out, clean up, or pay for the fucking dick pussy shit that other people are doing. My thing
Ed,
is,
it's not
if you
about that.
hold on,
Ed.
I'm not saying Jesus, but I've heard this for a long time. So I'm just saying, I don't care what nobody does as long as they can pay for what the fuck they do. But once they start reaching to other people to pay for their bullshit, and that's with anything, that's weed, that's anything. That's
All right,
when
but look,
people got a
Ed,
right to say some shit. That's all I'm
look,
saying.
Ed. Strip clubs are legally taxed businesses. OnlyFans is a legally taxed business. The government is allowing this shit to go on.
Okay, but that has nothing to do with what
Listen to what
I'm
I'm saying.
talking
Listen to
about.
what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying. The culture of the whores have always been around. You're not supposed to
So
want to
you're gonna
listen to
tell
what
me
I'm
the same
saying.
thing,
No,
say it
no, no,
over
no,
again
no.
in a
Let
different
Let him
way.
finish. Let him finish. Let him finish.
Listen to what I'm saying. You are not supposed to want to wife up a whore. You're supposed to treat the whores like whores and treat the women who want to be virtuous women like virtuous women.
So how do you
We don't
distinguish?
need to worry about the hoes. You treat them like the hoes. They help men. If you
Here's
could
the
go
issue,
get your
though.
dick
So how
sucked
do
for
you distinguish?
$60,
But
if you're
dude,
a
That
single
dude,
man,
hold on. We
here's the
understand.
issue.
We
It,
understand all of that. Like, dude, like, first of all, most of these niggas in the manosphere, trust me, when just like when bitches talk about niggas talk about, well, crazy pussy's the best pussy. I tell them, well, nigga, if you want to play with the animals, then don't cry about it. So I understand what I just said that today. I understand what you're talking about. But most black men here are not trying to wife up whores. The problem is you got women that are infecting other women with whores behavior a lot more than you normally would, and that's
they
being backed by
they
the
not
greater
infecting them.
society.
That's how them bitches already is.
Well,
no,
Okay,
she's just no. G,
All right.
let me
No,
say.
no.
listen,
here's
you
the
They
issue.
cannot
already
infect
know.
listen,
Let me say
I'm
this real
sorry,
quick.
no.
you
Let me say this.
cannot
I'm
infect
not gonna
me.
keep. I'm
Okay.
not gonna keep on deciphering shit. Like we're all smart guys here.
You
Nobody
can
here is gang goofy.
Listen, what G's saying is correct, but the issue is on that point. The issue is in previous times, the horror culture was limited to a small percentage of women. What we have now is that it has become the dominant culture amongst women. That's the issue. That's where it's cool if you have 1 to 10% of your population that's just gonna be whores. You know, the men in the society need to get it off, so they're gonna go to the whorehouse and do their thing. But when it's like 80+% of the women in your culture, that's an
no,
issue.
it's
Like
80
like
And
it's
then not
80+%
only
of
that,
black women.
there is a large percentage of men probably also too that's trying to be Captain Saber horse because they're not getting pussy like that on the regular. Like
yeah,
other
but
like
that
a,
but
like a
that's
small
a
percentage of
Saber
do.
hose, bro.
but again, that's some shit like and see this is another reason I wanted to do this. Dudes got to stop taking their own like worldviews and like intermit because this stuff is separate. It's the same thing when folks were trying to do when they brought on Palmer's thing where they wanted to bring the church into shit because it's funny because I wish I had that nigga on here with you, G, because you all are like polar fucking opposites. That nigga was talking about where that's the definition of square shit you talking about. He was like, well, and I didn't agree with him either. He was like, well, nigga, if y'all just stop fucking and y'all be on y'all purpose and y'all just stop having sex, we ain't even talk about wifing up bitch. We talk about having sex with these women. They will have no choice. Like that's not practical. That's
Well,
not
Hey,
practical.
the
hey,
issue is that unfortunately, they're polar opposites, but unfortunately, what ends up happening, and this is just my view, you guys can consider it however you want to, but I think what you're actually doing, whether you realize it or not, is you're resetting the conversation to a baseline where we can't have the conversation anymore. That's what you're doing.
no,
Who,
I'm
me?
having a
Because no, not
conversation with the
you, not
bros.
you. I'm
Look,
talking about the people who essentially, go back to the, pussy argument and how all women
Oh,
are
you're
hoes and
talking
how you want to wife them up and vice versa,
oh
where you
yeah.
end up on the opposite end of the spectrum where
Yeah,
you're like, well, just
Well,
get your
no,
money up.
and
well,
You're
that's
no,
trying to
he,
reset the conversation. Stop it.
and that's when I was talking about you have to deal with the observable world as it is. Like, because even with white women are more out there. Let's keep up 100. White women are actually more out there than black women. It's just the difference between white women is they have a concept. It's not see with most white women. It's not cool in their culture unless you're dealing with redneckism, and even then, there's a limit to that. It's not cool to be a broke bitch.
Edward.
It ain't cool to be a broke bitch out here. Ain't no man covering you. Ain't nobody giving a fuck about you. You a whore. That's some shit even other women are gonna basically jump on you on versus what we
But
do in
Edward,
our
let me
community.
explain it.
Because and Latin women are actually more sexual than black women too. But the problem is they have a certain balance when it comes to the long term like security of what they need. Black women are
Exactly.
on some shit where their sexuality sexuality is defined. Their defiance is defined by their sexuality. So they actually do more because they want to prove. This is why you got women talking about every bitch should have a hoe phase, and then that translates to females talking about. I just posted a picture of a female saying, "Get rid of the fetus." Come back to the streetest. Like, that's some funny shit. You got women that are literally hold on. You got women that are literally body mutilating themselves. Black women, other women do it too, but black women in particular on some shit they supposed to already have on some attention shit. So it's actually beyond this shit because you didn't have social media in no parts of Israel like you have now. So it's almost like women want to lose weight, but then it becomes this extreme anorexia, bulimia shit. That's actually what's going on. It's actually mentally a lot worse than what it was.
So the only time that women really behave in a natural state is in war-torn situations. That is really the only time in civilization. If you're conquered, like if you look at like back in Vietnam and Philippines and these different places that were taken over, that is really the only time in history where you see the women of that population behave in such a promiscuous manner.
But to say that we're marginalized war to guns and arrows right now is the greatest warfare this planet has ever seen.
Well, hold on. So another thing to consider is that in times of war or after times of war, what ends up happening is, at least all throughout history, not necessarily just now, is that after these places are conquered or whatever you'd like to describe it as, they get indoctrinated. The women get indoctrinated with a new culture.
Yes,
that's what ends up taking place. Not the men. What happens to the men is the men are killed off because they're the ones that carry the culture in the first place.
And in law today, that's called civil little more.
Well, that's the thing. Right. This shit with these women has a natural progression and timeline to it. They know that they can't be hoes at 35 no more.
They still trying out here.
Life is gonna hit them bitches.
Man,
life gonna hit them bitches.
These bitches are being hoes at 50. What are you talking about?
I know. Hey,
bro,
I see him out here, bro. Listen to what I'm saying. Let me just say this real quick. My grandfather.
Now let him finish. No.
Hold on. You gotta let Jesse. Let him finish.
Let him finish.
This shit all has a natural progression to it, right? A lot of these bitches ain't even really hoes. They copying a look.
That's true.
They're just bitches is copycats. They don't do nothing original, bro. They're doing all that shit because they're scared to be judged by other bitches.
And to be left
so
out.
A lot of these bitches is portraying that image, and they're not really out here fucking like that. That's like these bitches on the apps. You would get on the app. Listen, you would get on the app.
All right, G.
Most of them bitches on the apps is not going to meet up and fuck.
Unfortunately,
they're just on the app showing their ass, shaking their ass,
hey, G,
doing all that shit.
You talking to a motherfucker, right?
I used to run.
I used to run
I think y'all missing. This is way more chicks than you think it is.
Plenty of these bitches. This shit don't even matter. Like, man, these bitches is whores. It don't matter. But a lot of these bitches is not actually living that lifestyle, and they're portraying it to look cool.
Bro.
No, I'm telling you. What we're trying to explain to you. Well, no, he's not. That's a lie.
That is the truth. Yes,
I'm going to tell you why it's a lie. Let me get to it.
On Facebook, and most of these chicks that are posting.
Stop
most of these chicks that are posting.
Okay, time out. Cause this ain't. Hold on. This ain't what we gonna do. Cause real talk, I'm kind of thinking about dropping some people. Cause it's like, so I'm gonna do this. I got what you're saying, Noble. PK, say what you're gonna say. Noble, you respond. And then we're going to move on because it's kind of like I'm hearing the beginning of the conversation, all these women are whores. Now I'm hearing everybody portraying the image. So at this point, okay, well, I'm just saying people, okay, so I didn't know what you were going to say. But so, because that's actually what was about to be the main disagreement you and PK was going to have.
That's what I was.
See, he thought you was piggybacking off of what
That's why I kept talking. It would have been good if you just stopped talking.
All right, so Noble.
We don't do that right.
Well, then, you got to let people get to what they're getting.
Yeah, so I got
you cut into me.
PK,
no, I talked after G talk. I wasn't talking when you were talking. You cut me off.
It must have been a delay.
Okay, so let PK go, then Noble.
Go ahead.
Well, all I was gonna say is that you do have a lot of baby momism and a lot of fucking going on. There is a lot of women out here. That is the case. But all of them aren't like that. So you have a split. And so what I was going to say is that, yeah, I think that it is the dominant culture right now for a lot of these women out here to essentially be fucking everybody. That is the case. So what they're portraying on these social media sites and for the clout, that is something that they're doing as a man who used to fuck them. Okay, I don't anymore, but that's the thing that I used to do. So that thing that they're talking about, oh, I'm not fucking everybody, even though I'm on here posting on Instagram or on YouTube or Facebook, wherever the fuck. Yeah, they probably are living like that. That is their lifestyle. Now there is a segment of women who aren't doing that. But in 9 times out of 10, you aren't seeing these women. Some of them are on social media acting like they are, but the vast majority aren't on there in the first place for you to be able to see them. So that's two different. You're talking about two different groups of women.
True. Very much true.
All right, go ahead, Noble.
What I was saying is what G is saying is true. Most of these chicks, when you get them, they're not these freaky chicks that they act like. They're not doing that. Most of them are not. It's like two things that are a fact. It's not a lot of 7s and up. And a lot of these chicks can't even find guys to date or to marry or to be with them. So most of them are not doing the things that you see on the internet. And what you see as dominant and what's really dominant are two separate things. The most dominant thing amongst these children is, these children, these females, is child abuse. And people do not understand it. All y'all explaining day in, day out, everything that y'all said is child abuse. Because a little girl in North America watch her mother be a piece of shit. Don't nobody ever check her. Nobody ever comes and save her. But she get to watch her mother be a worthless piece of shit to everybody, and she just wants her turn, which is the copycat part that G said. So most of them are not. They don't get that opportunity. It doesn't happen. And they are abused more than the boys are. It's just worse when the boys do it because we're bigger, faster, and stronger. We create catastrophes.
Okay. No, absolutely. So here's the thing. I'm more in the middle. The thing is, when I compare it to what women use, if you compare it as a baseline to how women were, the shit like a lot of these females, in my opinion, are off the chains because they're like the average female has a lot more sexual experience than the average male. Today. That's number one. Number two is looks. Yeah, you got the females that look good. That they, like you're kind of Tiana Trumps. But that ain't necessary. That's not real. Come on, we seen enough big ugly bitches with kids, with multiple kids by multiple baby daddies to know you can be a 5 or a 4, even a 3, especially in the black community. Because the shit y'all saying, hold on, the shit y'all saying makes sense in other communities, but in the black community, it really, if you got a legitimate vagina, hell, these bitches are fucking, even remember the STD rates, or if you can see how many bitches are fucking just off the STD rates, and the STD rates are at 50%. So we already know that at least at a baseline 50%, we know is women that ain't got STDs that are fucking. So
right,
you gotta
understand. We also know.
So my thing is so I get what y'all are saying. Now I'm gonna address the other part because as far as it's a lot of women fronting. Let's say with the women that are fronting, that makes it even worse because what they're doing is they're creating an environment not only works in their best interest, works against their best interest, but it's also imprinting collectively the young girls to think this is what it is to be. Even if I go with what you all are saying is that's not really what it is. But with that being said, I will say yes, it's a lot of these. I'm not saying every bitch is fucking, but it's a lot more than what it used to be because the shit is a lot more open and these women are fucking younger. And that shit is rewiring their minds.
So yeah, you know exactly what I said. Then you went straight to the heart of what I was saying.
And listen, this is the thing too, Edward. What you were saying.
I wouldn't if I thought these bitches were fronting, I wouldn't be saying it as much. Go ahead.
I would say,
hold on, it's Jesse's turning you, Mel.
Okay.
What you were saying about the chicks, even though they're 4 and 5s, right? What we have to realize too is that those lower value women also have more opportunity for sex because of the weight issue in the black community. And so because 60 to 80% are overweight, so you do have those 4 and 5s that may be in shape, but at the face may be a 4 or 5 that are getting this opportunity.
If you are 4 or 5 with an ass, them niggas don't care. Go ahead.
Because I know chicks that's like 4 or 5s that's like getting,
and then we're gonna wrap it up.
If possible.
I wanted to speak to bring it up to 7 though. For why I brought it up.
What I would say is also too, if you want to break it down within the attractive rating scale, I would say the women that's like in the middle, they're the ones that's getting a lot of sex partners and stuff. As in the highly attractive ones, they getting a lot of sex, but they having sex with a small percentage of guys.
Because they can get those guys. Yep, that is
exactly.
True.
and stuff. Yeah, because they more concerned with they looks and pussy. That's all they got is they looks and they pussy. They ain't trying to really over fuck a lot of dudes like that because, like you said, they ain't trying to get caught with STDs and all that shit. No, and they mostly focus on the bag, trying to get that bag. So you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna use my sexual looks by not giving so much sex a lot to some of these guys, so I get the bag as much as I can.
And then you got to add in all of this body mutilation is starting to go on, and that shit is getting more and more popular because it's intensive competition. It depends on the region. Like if you're in the West Coast, that's not a very favorable situation for black women because and then you got to understand that a lot of black men, contrary to popular opinion, most black men are fucking black women. It ain't like these women are having. And by the way, black women got sexual access to non-black men. Now, whether they're gonna be in a relationship or be, taken out of the closet is a different portion. But these women are a lot more than what we talk about.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing that we don't never. I'm just piggybacking off of what you said. I don't want to lose that. So. Yeah, that's what's not talked about a lot is the fact that they may not be getting married by these other groups of dudes, but we've seen with the DJ Popes and the damn Sperminator that they be getting tagged by these other groups of men and be bringing these STDs into the community.
Well, now this what I'm saying. You do got a significant portion of these women that's fucking they hoes. They really throat baby. You could pull up, bust them down, and move on. But a lot of these bitches is imitating the look because it's popular. So when you meet up with these bitches, you think you could treat these hoes like these rap bitches, but they try to get into a relationship. So you got to tell them bitch like, bitch, I ain't on that shit. I'm not trying to be in a relationship with you, you thought ass bitch. And this is why these bitches is going nuts because niggas is not wanting relationships with bitches that look like thoughts.
Yes.
So we running into thought culture where the girls who really not hoes though, they're just thoughting, they're out here shaking their ass, twerking all the time, sticking their tongue out and shit. They really not hoes.
Nigga, that's a distinction without a difference. And to like I get what you saying because like a lot
image.
So that's kind of like the culture in the 90s.
They're not actually copying the sexual behavior.
The STD rate amongst black women is 50%. So it ain't so it's not. So I get what you're saying. I just don't want nobody to think, oh well, it's about 33% of women that are just really on some hoe shit, and the rest of them are front. Yeah, there's some women that's front, but understand when you start getting
like 40% of them. I would say like 40% of them, bro.
You show me a bitch that's got the tattoos, the tongue ring, the fucking hair. That basically looks like fucking what's her name, Sha'Carri Richardson. That ain't fucking. They may not be fucking men, but they fucking women. They fucking something.
Listen, a lot of these bitches will do that and be fucking niggas trying to get a relationship because they don't have actual.
I'll give
listen, Edward, they don't have any skills to keep a nigga, so they fuck a nigga. And they don't really know how to keep them, and they only involved in the sex. The nigga leave, they go nuts, and they're trying to get niggas.
But those okay, I get. Okay. No, hold on.
I mean,
hold on. The problem is, and it's kind of the way you're kind of articulating it. You're talking about like certified, straight up prostitute, like minded. Full-blown diesels versus women that try to dip in the diesel in and out. Because the bitches you're talking about will have a baby on a nigga, and then they'll be calling Love Dorsey angry as shit because the child support ain't going the way she wanted, and Love Dorsey saying you a stupid bitch, basically. So I get what you're saying, but to me, those bitches, you talk about goofy bitches. Those bitches in the same category. Because once you start to get the tats, especially because you can't undo that really. The piercings and stuff, I get what you're saying. You kind of in there, so you like you're micro segmenting it. And yes, there are levels to dieselism. So I get what you're saying, G. But I'm just saying,
you know what?
To a square ass nigga, that's a distinction without a difference. Because, and I'm gonna tell you why, G. The niggas they looking for, they're those bitches you talked about are not looking for squares. Those bitches are looking to try to take niggas that are in these streets really fucking like that. The thuggo niggas, they're trying to take them and convert them niggas into when I say good men, I mean niggas, stable niggas. You know what I'm saying? Niggas that are going to come off the street, retire out the streets for they bitch ass.
You know I'm from the streets, bro. I really know these bitches.
So that's why I kind of understand. I understand what you're articulating.
These bitches.
Yeah,
you ain't the only one, bro.
So am I wrong?
You know, you're not wrong, but what you missing, a lot of these bitches is trying to get a man, bro. They don't know how to get men. They don't understand
goofy
men.
bitches.
Yeah.
Those are the goofy ones. Those are the ones that like the women is really, let's say you out here in these streets, you hoeing, but you getting paid to do it. These women is saying you a stupid bitch because you fucking for free because you want a nigga, you want to take a nigga, you want to take these niggas that are pumping and dumping.
And very few of these bitches is actually fucking for cash.
And there'll be chicks that make six figures working for chicks.
A lot of these bitches are fucking niggas they're attracted to.
But the bitches
they're turning up for niggas they're attracted to.
Yes, so the bitches you're talking about are fucking for free because they're fucking because they want to take one of these niggas that they want off the market. Because it ain't because they're not doing that with the square niggas. These will be the bitches that'll take a square.
Niggas too.
Well, they'll make
they doing it for the square niggas too. They doing it for any nigga that they deem as a good nigga and valuable.
Well, good is attractive or got a lot of money.
See, Ed, what they don't want the structure of a man. They want the man, they just don't want the structure.
Okay, well, that's why I say
what about women like Blue Jasmine?
Dude, but nigga, that's a distinction without a difference, though. Like at that point, they're the same. That's the same. Yeah. That's the same bitch. You talking about like full blood. It's like you talking about hoes versus prostitutes. Because a hoe ain't necessarily a prostitute. Then strippers, all that is the same to most people. Like
no, a hoe is different than a slut.
I get that. But for this conversation, that's all the same shit.
Right. For the conversation, it's all about promiscuity.
If you talking about having like a community that's solid, all that shit, I'll get lumps. Now, if you want to start segmenting them into different categories to kind of like the compensatory manual. It's like saying, well, mental illness. Well, anorexia and bulimia is not the same as dementia. It's not. But it's all mental illness.
It's all mental illness. Listen, the bitches, we not disagreeing that these hoes is retarded. Right. These bitches is slow as fuck. We not saying that. But I'm telling you, a lot of these bitches is fucking because they don't know what else to do. They don't know.
That's just true.
If a bitch can't cook, if this bitch can't cook, she don't know how to really clean the house that good.
Right.
She ain't that smart and got shit to talk about. When a nigga come around, she's trying to keep this nigga around. The only thing she could think to do is put that pussy on a nigga.
Well, David Carroll.
They fucking more because there's no offset.
Well, David Carroll, and I got you told.
Well, that is the offset in a way in her mind.
Hold on,
you gotta put your camera, bro. Your camera, bro. You can still face.
He's cool. He's cool with that. You got next.
I'm cause for my shit died too because my shit.
Okay, well, this is gonna be real quick. David Carroll.
No, do your thing, bro. I'm gonna fix my shit while you.
Please. Okay, absolutely.
I'm listening.
David Carroll says the only thing I'm just saying, I ain't saying all black women, but this is what he say. The only thing a black bitch can offer is a fat ass. That's why you think they twerking all the goddamn time. That's a mating call.
Yeah,
they want to
twerk
twerk on the
table.
haven't
taught them shit. They mama didn't teach them shit.
Yeah, absolutely. Word. So I'm just saying for this conversation, that's all the same shit. Whether their ability to do this shit is irrelevant to me. It's all the same mentality because once you get like that mentally, it ain't like when they get the same. Even Kendra talked about this. Crimson Cure. When they get the nigga they want. It ain't like that chaos just stopped. They turned into fucking Jada Pinkett and shit. Always wanting that chaos or a refresher of it. Even those goofy bitches are like that. Because they think they want a man. Because they want a man to be their father or whatever they think they lacking. And when they get it, it's all, no matter who the nigga is, the nigga could be Will Smith, or no matter who, or Tupac, it ain't never enough. And they don't know why. So those are all the same bitches.
This ain't about
you. You telling the truth, Edward, but what I think niggas missing, like, I don't judge them bitches like that just don't know what to do the same way I judge a bitch that's really just out here bopping.
Man,
nigga, none of them can be saved.
Really out here bopping. See, there's a difference between a bitch who bop for certain niggas and a bitch that's just bopping for any nigga she with that night.
Man, in the normal world, that's a distinction without a difference.
It is, bro. You need to stop that, man. You
bro, at the bottom, you muted, bro.
The point is, we don't want none of them.
Hold on. So I'm gonna get Last Zulu in here, and then Tola is next.
All right.
So because you've been waiting, and then we gonna start to wrap this
up. You don't know that he muted.
No, I unmuted him. So Tola, go ahead.
Basically, like I said, I'm out here in Atlanta. Like, like over the last goddamn year and a half, bro. Like I literally goddamn, I have slowly goddamn lost hope for humanity necessary or the black community, bro. The shit that I'm out here seeing is you got I'm out here fucking chicks who got them. They got their baby in the bed and shit. Nigga,
Look,
I'm out here fucking
G like you can't be a square ass nigga in Atlanta, man. That's your problem,
nigga, bro. And I'm telling you, it's really hard, bro.
Atlanta ain't square
nigga,
friendly.
If you in Atlanta, you supposed to be fucking 90 going south, nigga. 24 east.
So we need to start coming up with square friendly cities, yo.
You gonna have to. But
you need to move to
Maine
or Portland, Oregon, or something.
That be the purpose of telling me to go.
If you in Atlanta, DC, Houston, Miami, nigga, there ain't no hope. You might as well fuck them bitches. Chicago, St. Louis, you might as well fuck them bitches and keep it pushing.
Nigga,
I was about to go to goddamn Texas too, bro.
And really, Phoenix is starting to be the white bitch version of that. You know, Phoenix.
So you need to move the safe states. Is
Philly's
Utah,
another one.
West Virginia,
Wyoming,
come on now,
Alabama.
No, that's better states than that. Y'all
nigga,
joking.
them Philly bitches. If you looking for a good bitch, a good black bitch, you need to go somewhere else, nigga. You ain't about to find. It's going to be so hard to find a good black woman.
Go to South Carolina, you gonna run into one bitch that was infected by Mr. Bo. So you can't even go to South Carolina
anymore. The only state that's safe now is Mississippi, nigga. Nobody trying to go to Mississippi.
But the fact is that
Mississippi ain't even safe no more.
Mississippi ain't safe no more.
Alabama, you got them famous twins and a lot of them TikTok bitches getting they dudes.
And you see
everybody up.
Listen, no. Perfect example. Look how fucking stupid them bitches. Listen, now we get into the crux of the problem, man. Look how stupid them bitches can't even write.
Smoking on camera, bro.
So let me.
Ed, them bitches is illiterate. These bitches is a bunch of dumb.
This going to Patreon anyway.
Listen,
but go
Ed, these bitches is stupid, Ed.
Me, my nigga.
You just hit the crux of the problem. You ever heard them Alabama twin bitches talk?
Oh yeah.
Them bitches sound like they got Down syndrome, bro.
Niggas is lame like that. Off this shit.
All right, so what's up? No, I ain't lame. I mean, whatever. Like I said, it's going to Patreon.
No.
It was going to Patreon way before you. I mean, I ain't worried about nobody smoking weed because I mean, shit's legal in a lot of places now. So shit.
Yeah,
go ahead. Go ahead. Tola. No, I ain't worried about that. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, my bad, bro. I mean, look, man. The game ain't gonna change, man. The player's always gonna, man. You know what I'm saying? Now, I be hearing niggas talk some scientific stuff and some niggas talk some real street down to earth shit, man. It's in between there. We all know that. Grown men. Nigga, I'm a father, right? I got a baby mama terrorist. Like, my baby mother's one of the worst you'll ever fucking meet, man. Trust me, I've been through it, man. And but I wound up on top of it. So, like, I want to tell my story. I'll get a platform one day. But look, brothers, anything, nigga, just do it, man. Like, yo, get your money up, stick to your purpose, but also understand nature. Don't get too lost in yourself. You know what I'm saying? Nobody got all the answers. Nobody on this panel. Nobody, no book you read, nothing, man. You gotta live this shit for a reason. It's like, in a way, God created the universe to look at it himself. That's us.
Nigga, what?
Hey, Ed, I miss the old Ed, I miss when you used to just jap out on motherfuckers, bro.
Yeah, where the fuck that go to, bro? Because we need that shit now.
You gotta just start japping the fuck out again.
What jap out?
I remember like 2 years ago. 2 years ago, I was listening to you argue with some bitch. You just japped out on that hoe. I was like, "This is what I'm talking about."
Who?
That's why I started following you. Yeah.
I'm generally pretty. No, that was the only person I've really japped out on. Is probably Miss J, because she disingenuous as fuck.
Man,
yo.
you was japping out on one of them, but the bitch was being fake.
That's the only chick. Like, for the most part, I'm pretty solid when females come on.
Listen,
because you can't argue with math.
Yeah, I don't expect nothing real to come out of internet bitch mouth. That's just what it is, bro.
Shout out to hold on one second. Shout out to Jason Hales for the $10 super sticker. I always tell people. I mean, one person. If you need to
Hey, I'm
hear
gonna
from.
support after the after because I can't do that shit on my phone right now. But I'm gonna throw something in the collection plate
No,
after
I
the show.
appreciate it. Yeah, the Cash App is what the fuck that shit is.
No,
It's a
I'm gonna throw
legit.
some in the super chat, man.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm about to wind it down because I need to.
Yeah.
I need. Yeah. So, but this has actually been good 2 hours. It's been some real shit. Shout out to Mr. Palmer. And I was talking about this stuff throughout the whole other situation because motherfuckers really be trying to. I just can't stand how dudes be acting like.
Breaking up.
Yeah. Well. Anyway. Yeah. I pretty much said what needs to be said. So we about to
Hey
start getting
man,
final
this is what
thoughts.
we need to do, Ed. We need to just accept this shit for what it is. We gotta just accept this shit for what it
Well,
is.
it's not
And the
about me.
brothers
Go
and the
ahead. This is your
brothers who
final
have
thought.
the ability to move on and create something better for themselves, just go ahead and move on and create something better for yourself, man. We not there's
I
no
think that's
black
what Kevin
community to
Samuels was
save.
trying to allude to with that show the other night.
Yeah,
If we
there's
trying to
nothing
manage
to
our
save, my
community
nigga.
and most of these our black women is not following to the standards of what we want in the wife, where we supposed to go?
You gotta just roll out, my nigga. You
Man,
gotta just go
the planet is
on.
yours, man. The earth is yours, bro. Like Wu-Tang Clan said, the world is yours. The seed of the black
Exactly,
Black
man.
woman.
women are
It's the
acting.
palm
They
of
the
my
ones that
hand.
acting race loyal, but it's black men that acting race loyal. But most of our black women ain't. So,
So, bro, we do us
Yeah, man.
then. We do us.
Because it's not their race that belongs to
These
us.
niggas acting
Yes.
like they the ones who
What that brother just
want to
said.
be the wife, nigga.
All right,
These
so let
niggas
them
is acting like they want to
suffer
be
in
wives.
silence, then, bro. Let us
Well, let her
try
because
them.
we doing final thoughts. Let everybody get their thought out. Like they,
All right,
yeah.
this is my closing statement, Ed. As brothers, I'm from the streets, Ed. I done did a whole 180 with my life, bro. And I got love for the bros, man. And I used to try to figure out what was holding us back. And once I finally figured out, man, I went forward. If you feel like this shit not for you, man, SYSBN, bro. There's no black community. There's nothing to save. We haven't had a black community since the 50s, my nigga. Let's just keep it a buck. The women don't want to bow down, and we can't beat these bitches up. This ain't This ain't the 1600s where we could just grab a bitch and put her in check.
I got my
So
passport.
since that's the case, I need to get some shit that nigga down there smoking,
Yeah,
and I'm out of here.
on this bitch.
Nigga, I got my passports.
You showed us.
All right, so
Going anywhere in the world. Nigga.
let's go to Zulu
Out
next.
here and over there. And everywhere.
All right. Basically, I'm
That's my
kind
final
of
statement.
piggyback off of G. Be careful who you fucking out here. Always keep your head on the swivel. I'm gonna tell you, don't date none of these black chicks out here. I hate to be that motherfucker to tell you that, but don't date most of these black chicks out here, and just go ahead and find you another chick, man. That's all.
This nigga sound like he about to say, just go ahead and find you a robot, and he
I
about to
was trying to get in that vibe too.
That nigga, but I ain't gonna lie, yo. You got a story of like you sitting there, baby. That was scar yo.
Bro, like that one in the full story, but I had to stop right then and there because shit was just getting.
What we may do a Patreon exclusive where you say that.
My nigga, life go on, man. You God out here, man. You created this world to see the beauties. The God means strength, power, and beauty, man.
Nigga,
keep looking. Look, that's what God means. Look it up.
Peace, God. Peace, God. I hear you, God. Peace, God.
I'm not a 5%. I just know about like etymology.
You from that school though? I hear you. Where you from? New York, Connecticut?
Yeah, I'm Brooklyn.
You from Brooklyn? You from the Mecca? That's all I know. You from the Mecca.
All right, so we got Zulu, we got Zulu G, Jesse, or Mel. Your final thought.
Yeah, like I said, man, find your happiness. And don't let these bitches dick police you. That's the whole main thing. Exactly. That's the boil down to. Just and even some dudes trying to dick police and
Good
shit. Exactly. So you know what? Let them know, yo, I control my dick
right there
and my money. Who I'm gonna spend my money resources that earns that shit. So
man, protect your money and sanity at all costs.
Always, man. Thank you, Ed, man, for having me up. Can't wait till next time, man. Good evening, brother.
Hey,
all right,
most def is SYSBM. link up with your real niggas and fuck with the real bros.
Yeah, I
If
gotta
they
get
ain't
in tune with
real,
this.
leave the fake alone. SYSBN, my bros. SYSBN.
All right, Noble,
Peace
what's
to the
your final
gods.
thought?
Just to encourage people to, I've said it multiple times, call out the child abuse, child molestation, child alienation that Black females are perpetuating on a day-to-day basis. That's the core problem. That's where everything starts. Once that's done and y'all pick that up, once you finally get around and start doing it 2-3 years from now, you can be like, that nigga was right. 100% of the problems that you know having brown skin in North America starts with Black females beating the fuck out of children and killing children. That's the core. Nothing else is going to solve it. I promise you. Once you start calling it out, and you need to see a 40% incarceration rate increase with Black females.
There's no
Like the
one
brother,
answer for anything.
like the brother
No
said,
one solution for anything.
when cause precedes effect, things only
Yeah.
drop because of what? Because they were in
My
suspense.
nigga,
They were in,
all that philosophical stuff goes but so far.
that's
Just
not
like how
Well,
we get
yeah,
philosophical.
man,
gangster
but
goes
you
but so
can,
far.
yeah, but this is final thought. So I
It's
understand. I mean,
balanced.
what he's saying, but yeah, because I
I
mean,
get it.
there are certain. I'm
I
not
agree
saying
with it to a point.
there's certain things that have more concussive effect than others. You're right in saying there's no one thing, but there are things that move the needle a lot more than others. So I definitely
No.
understand where he's coming
This is
from with
because,
that.
like
I
I
highly
said,
respect bro's intellect too, man. I heard him on the last show and I like shit, man. He actually moved me, man.
yeah, because
Like
what I'm saying is
don't think I'm
I
trolling.
help people get in businesses. I help people invest. I help people get healthy, cure diseases. I've done everything that people think is going to matter. The only thing that moves it forward. I don't care who you are. If anybody has cancer right now, we can get rid of this shit in 90 days. I've seen mind-boggling
Oh.
things happen. And
Yeah.
I'm telling you, the only thing that moves
No
is
much
when
trouble.
this solution of a person finding out that they've been abused and they get over that. That's the only thing that changes anything consistently.
Healing the mind, healing the inner self.
So that's the point. Start looking it up. Start looking at the research, and slowly but surely, things will move from that end. Because
Bro,
I
what's
think
your name?
everybody
I
is
gotta get in tune with you. You gotta before we shut the show. What's your name, bro? Because I
the
can't
world
see it
class,
on my screen. World
the
class.
world on the
All right.
YouTube,
Oh,
world
I know.
class.
Okay, okay. I'm not. Yeah, I heard you.
Noble. So that's my piece, bro. Appreciate you,
Nice to meet you.
Ed. Great dialogue today on this show, and Mr.
Email
Pope.
you.
Appreciate you.
No, absolutely, man. And then we go. Hold on one second.
Today been a hell of a day on YouTube, man. Y'all niggas got me damn near ready to tear up, man. Between Mr. Palmer and this shit, man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, man.
Oh yeah.
Niggas
Ed,
got me
I
ready
forgot.
to tear up, man. I ain't gonna hold you, man.
Oh yeah, Ed. I want to ask
And
you
I'm
one
not no
quick question.
sentimental motherfucker like that.
Like,
Yo, let me get my final thoughts real quick, man.
Huh?
What the hell going
Niggas are
on with this
licking the
cat,
weed.
bro?
I don't fucking know. Hey, you know we can see this shit, right? Okay.
This is how it is to date in the Black community, yo.
So yeah,
Oh shit! Don't do this, bro.
Yo.
Nigga, don't be doing that shit because it's kind of fucking true.
That's racist as hell, man.
Oh, I got worse ones. That's racist. Come on, man, nigga.
No, Ed, I want to ask you a question.
Go
You know
ahead,
what I saw today this morning? I saw a white boy that transformed himself to a black man because he hate white people.
Okay,
You ever saw that shit?
Yeah, shut up. But no, Jesse,
God.
let Jesse get his final
Fuck
thought.
world are we living in today,
I was
man?
gonna answer that question, right? The reason why black men cannot come up with a unified code or conduct or value system is because most black men have the gynocratic code and value system. And so there's always the gynocratic code of value system is to keep niggas infighting so that the women could have the power in the leadership positions. That's what it's all about. So if it's like what I would suggest to brothers, man, listen, find you a woman that's on the page that you want to be on, take control of being proactive and raising your children, and just go from there. That's how it's over with the gynocracy. You gotta go on another side and create your own new community from scratch with women that don't have that software, that don't have that gynocratic software. It's the only way, man. And I'm gonna leave it at that.
Yeah, this is how
Make the video unlisted.
this is how black mom are with black kids. Like, look at
One,
this. Look at
one
this.
way or another. I ain't hit what you said, Berkey. Repeat that.
This is how black women are with their kids, yo. Like, let's see. Look at this.
That's facts.
All these kids.
God damn.
That but feared. I got boy. No, that I ain't gonna. We ain't gonna keep
funny,
that
man.
going.
That shit ain't even funny, bro.
That's how they all
even though
them boys. All them boys. They get them early. Like I told you, I saw that movie Dune when they were talking about that shit. The voice, I was like, you ain't gonna tell me that shit ain't based on no black females, man. A voice that can make you do everything. Like,
I was thinking the same shit.
And then they could choose the sex of their kids. You know, they all with like you will have women with the. You ain't gonna tell me that ain't no dream. But anyway, y'all go. Oh, you're passing black women. Oh my god. You know these motherfuckers. Wait till the comments come. But anyway, man, Tola, your last thoughts, and then yeah, that's it. We're about to
make the
out.
video unlisted. That's all I'm gonna say. Or put it to Patreon or make it unlisted. I would definitely want to go back over there because there's so much information in here.
Thanks.
I appreciate it, man.
Let me sit up straight, man, so I can get my chi and shit flowing to the brain properly and shit. All right, boom. My brothers and my sisters, man. You know what I mean? My people, man, and the babies, man. We were born to experience, like, you know what I'm saying, not to be subject. Like, yo, man, this is just, like, niggas be talking a lot of this shit, but niggas don't be living this shit, man. I be living this shit, bro. Like, nobody can ever tell me ever again, man. Even my mother understands this. My dad dead, but my mom's understands this shit. Like, she didn't when I was a kid, but I always like, look, man. Nigga, just change the world in your own way, man. Every day. Just be what we talk about in this manosphere, man. Yo, put the game and play, my nigga. Peace. Love y'all, man. Respect.
Absolutely, man. Much appreciated. All right, this will be a final thing. Like y'all, like
you dismissed my mother in her own house.
Come here, kneel.
Like life is no. I ain't gonna say no. How dare you? Life is a black sun. That's basically what it is. Come here. Anyway, all right, Jesse, man. I'll see you in Telegram. But anyway, y'all, this has been a great episode. Appreciate your donations. Another episode of Everybody Hates Black Men. Once again, I'm your host, Edward Anderson. Again, appreciate the cash apps as well as the super chats. You know, I try not to always be super serious. But I'm gonna tell you, a lot of shit they were saying was dead ass true. Y'all be thinking motherfuckers be playing with that slum shit. Like, that's if you find a dude, man, I'm clean cut. I do everything nice and clean. I just can't get these black females. That's why. That's the secret y'all been looking for. You got to play that niggified character. So anyway, I'm about to end this. With this being said, this is Edward signing off. Peace.